to Talk the Kēki, not in Iran.
Konnichiwa!
Minasan, konnichiwa!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2-week delayed episode of Talk the Kēki. We promise you there's no dog fucking, unlike one certain anime that we're not talking about. Jesus Christ. I'm Matt, and as always, to join me, my co-hi, Ethan, what's up?
Konnichiwa, minasan, genki desu ka?
Daijoubu, a little high, a little cold.
That could be the name of a song. Just a little high, little cold. I got the Tenjaku today, boy. I'm not on screen. Hold on, let me save. I'm trying to block people from seeing my view. Here we go. Got the Tenjaku bottle, a little bit of water. It's gonna be a litty podcast.
Alrighty. Yeah, we didn't record last week because both of us were busy on a weekend, and it got to the point where we couldn't watch anything until like the Monday or Tuesday or whatever. And it's like,
that's the name of the title, guys. Too much animated chew. Matt and I bit off too much than we can chew, more than we can chew.
Yeah, that, and again, yeah, I had company over the whole for like 4 days, and
I've had life, man. Just fucking life has been a pain in the ass. How do I sound on the mic, bro?
You sound a little more clear.
Sound a little more clear.
Yeah, Jesus. Pretty good.
So my friend who I talked to, shout out to her, she recommended that because of the way I move and stuff, like I lean back and stuff, like I have to be like really close to the mic, but it kind of obstructs my view because like this fucking the pop mic is obstructing my view. So she suggested, and I went with it, buying an actual mic stand, like a floor stand. So that's coming in the mail Wednesday. Looking forward to that.
All right,
that's set up for our next show. Hopefully by our next show we'll be caught up. So a caveat, guys, Matt's all caught up. I am not. I am 7 shows behind a single episode. So we're going to be talking about multiple episodes for all 28 or 29 shows that we're watching together, and then B, or in general, and then B, for 7 of them, we won't be talking about the latest episode because I have not seen it yet and I haven't had the time. So
so we're doing my memory. He's fucking the dog. I'm holding its head. What
the fuck?
Well, yeah, you're steering the ship because you watched more of the last week episodes, and I haven't seen those since like 3 weeks ago.
Shit, man.
Yeah, so we're gonna all talk about key highs, kind of like we did the premiere, but just reviews mixed with it. How everything's going. We're almost halfway with some of them. One from fall is almost done. Thank God.
Jinx.
I did finish one on Netflix. I'll talk to that when I do my reviews. Let's get to a couple of news.
Have you started Ragnarok yet?
I'm probably going to do that Sunday. I'm going to watch the Heracles and Jack the Ripper fight. If it goes well, I'll keep going.
Can't wait to hear the rant if it doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't watch it yet. I don't believe my friend Chris has either. When he comes on later, he just getting off work.
Oh, he's going to be live commenting, guys.
Yep.
Ooh. And again, if you guys catch us live on the streams, again, Twitch, YouTube, comment. Let us know. Talk to us. Yep. We obviously stopped to talk to motherfuckers, so more of a stream than a actual podcast.
I got my I do have a soundboard. I had to buy extra wires at the Talking the Starman. So once I get my memory cards, he's gonna help me hook it up fully.
Yo, live commentator this year.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, once I get that, he's gonna guide me for that. So, but yeah, thank you, Chris. Welcome to the show. I do have a Keki shot planned with Starman as well, like you do with Slime.
I haven't planned that bitch at all, but okay.
Well, you were talking. Well, you guys still might do it.
I imagine so one of these days.
Yeah, and and sometime this month I'm gonna be doing Lupin the Third with him.
Actually, I have an idea. We can make a whole Keki shop out of Slime. We could just do a movie review with me and him. Slime.
Yeah, and you can talk about the show a little bit.
Kaguya, Sao. That's really depressing. I'm gonna go see Kaguya by myself in the movie theaters on fucking Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I'll be.
You'll be with your significant other.
Yeah, I'll be casting it. And see what they do with that. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, we're gonna do Lupin the Third this month. It's gonna be great.
Nice.
We talk about the history of Lupin. We'll be reviewing Lupin Zero together, and the latest movie that came out last week, Lupin the Third versus Cat's Eye, which is a movie on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
So I will try to watch that sometime before we do the show for that.
Nice.
So yeah, check out for that. We got a couple of news. Like I said, unfortunately, some shows have been postponed due to COVID. I know there was one that we don't watch. It was that Lovers Triangle one. That was the one that got delayed. The one we're both watching, Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible. We have 2 more episodes of that, and after that, it's going to be disqualified for winter because it's going to air as a spring anime.
The rest of it, the second half.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, yeah, but they're re-airing from episode 1 in April.
Oh, well, on live TV.
Yeah.
Oh, they're re-airing it?
I think just that episode, but we'll see. But yeah, it's not.
I mean, it's already available on things, so they're not going to just.
I know. Well, we'll see. We'll keep an eye out for it. If they change.
It'll be one we don't have to worry about for 7 weeks, basically. If that's the case.
Yeah, and one I'm watching, Nier Automata, it's got delayed last week. We don't know if it's coming back tomorrow or there's gonna be a release date. Yeah. I didn't hear anything about airing in April, so I think it's gonna be a couple of weeks. But that was still upsetting because that is one of my top shows for the season. Like, damn. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about that when we get to it. Alrighty, not a lot for anime adaptation announcements, but we do have some release dates for some. Like Tonikawa Season 2 is coming out in April 23.
Woo!
I know. And we got 2 for summer with My Happy Marriage.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. And Duke of Definite is Made is official for the summer catalog.
Woo!
Yep. And that probably will be the last season for that.
Yeah, they said it was going to be a final.
Okay. Because the manga's done, so they're going to do that.
Yeah, they're going to try and push it all. Hopefully it's not rushed for anybody that's seen the manga.
Depends on how many episodes we get, but or they'll find a way to make it seem like it's not rushed. And then Magical Girl Raisin Project is getting a anime adaptation. No release date yet. The manga Given is going to end next month. Sad
for you, Matt?
Yeah, sad for me. But so hopefully they'll finish with animating it.
I will watch it. I have committed to watching it at some point in my life.
Yeah. You owe me a few shows because I'm watching like 2 to 3 shows because of you.
Motherfucker, I'm watching 23 different shows.
I'm not talking about for winter. I'm talking about for later. I'm going to save them. For some time of the year, I'm gonna pick one for you.
Either if I have a light season, I'm not. I know damn sure I'm not. I'm capping myself at 20. That's gonna be my limit.
I'm still doing it because you owe me for a high card Tomo.
Those are. I mean, come on, dude. You had a lighter season than I did.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the rule. Whoever has a lighter season has to pick up a show that the other one's watching.
If you give me 2 to 3 to add on, then I'm going to make you add on. All right, moving on. The Kingdoms of Ruin is getting a TV anime for 23. There's no season for that yet. Heavenly Delusion is going to be a Disney exclusive in April 23.
Means it'll be on Hulu.
Yeah, that means it'll be on Hulu. I know Demon Slayer, they had a little press conference frame, like a little promo to hype it up. We're getting a 1 hour special for the first episode.
Yeah.
They announced voice actors, and they revealed the OP for it's a collab from the band Man with a Mission that did the Vinland Saga OP for the first season, and singer for Millet, who also did Vinland Saga ending the second ending. So they will be doing the OP together for Demon Slayer season 3.
Nice. I have I read something today that so Slime is ending its, which by the way is still in American movie theaters. Slime is ending its Japanese theatrical release, and they said on the final day of it, which is like Sunday, I think the 17th of February, or something along those lines. I think it's February 17th. Regardless, whatever day that is, they're going to have a special announcement regarding the show, which is basically going to be when season 3 is going to air.
Right.
So that'll be good. Hoping for probably summer or fall, I'm thinking.
Probably. Again, the season's gonna be heavy. This year is just gonna be heavy.
This year,
in general,
madness. I know.
Yeah, because again, we got Jujutsu in summer. We got Mushoku Tensei this year. Return of Spy Family. We got the Demon Slayer. Attack on Titan for people.
Yep.
This is gonna be a hard annual.
God damn it.
And Bleach coming back.
Yes. Summer.
Yeah, summer. Fuck.
Ooh,
Jujutsu and Bleach.
Oh boy. I think Bleach is purposely doing that. They're gonna like, what's coming out? What's really hot? Chainsaw Man, Bleach. Chainsaw Man. Yeah. Although we've heard about the Chainsaw Man thing, right? How it's doing poorly on video sales.
Yeah, like 1,600. Well, Bocchi the Rock did almost 17,000.
Madness
for the first week, and they're one of the highest selling.
No one would have ever thought how popular Bocchi the Rock got. Like that resonated so much with people. It's shocking.
Yeah, so yeah, it had a bigger impact on people.
Clearly.
But no, that's good. That means we get a season 2. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I'm very excited for that one. Let's get to some reviews.
Yep, go ahead, man.
Oh fuck, it's my turn.
You got less than me, motherfucker. I don't even know what the fuck I'm watching anymore. Honestly, everything is like blended into life. Good thing I have we have the thing that I updated, right? Go ahead and open up Google Drive or Google Docs rather.
Yeah, do that. All right. I'll start with Bofuri. Basically, we got more screen time with Maple and Sally. They are completing. They're completing like the extra DLC, the events. They are on the 6th floor now. They're trying to go up while the other guilds are a little bit ahead of them. I think one of them cleared it a little bit earlier than them. But these basically the mods or whatever, they're trying to make it as hard as possible for Maple and Sally, because Maple's too OP for defense, while Sally with her attack. And I think the season they are going to lead to that little fight with Maple and Sally, because Sally is considered undefeated in this MMO RPG world. While again, Maple's just the defensive type. So, and they're best friends in real life too. It's not Isekai. It's an MMO for people that don't know or just tuning in now. So these mods they created this final boss that and it was giving them a run for their money for quite a bit too. But of course, eventually, Maple and Sally, they defeated it. The DLC is clear for now. Everyone's happy.
Woo!
Roll credits for that one. Boom.
Woo!
All right, moving on. Pokemon Masters.
Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon.
Yep, again, the final season for Ash. He reunited with Misty.
So you get the spinoff with Ash's kid.
Probably.
Him and Misty finally fucked and had a baby.
I don't think it's Misty.
You don't think it's Misty?
Oh, well, someone already made a move on Ash in one of the seasons. Serena, the childhood friend, actually.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, she's the one that gave Ash a kiss before they left.
Ash is still what, 10?
I think 12.
He's 12? That always bothered me about Pokemon, bro. You have 25 years of a fucking series, and the motherfucker.
That's also One Piece. I think he's what? How old?
In what?
I say, well, One Piece and Naruto, shit ton of episodes, so many years.
No, he turns 16 and 17. I don't know about One Piece, but for Naruto, when we start, he's like, I think
12.
11. He's 12.
No, he's 12. Yeah, he's 12.
Yeah, the series Shippuden ends when he's 17.
That's right, and it becomes the Hokage.
Yeah, and then becomes the Hokage. But he doesn't become Hokage until he's I think 20 something. Because Kakashi after Shippuden's over, Kakashi becomes the Hokage, And when they go to Naruto, the final movie, he's about 19 or 20. I think he's about 19. He's 19 or so.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Naruto movies, so
you have to watch Naruto the last because that's where Hinata that's where him and Hinata get together. So that's actually canon-esque because that's officially when they cement their relationship.
Right. So okay, and yeah, as Chris said, One Piece had a 2-year time skip. Okay,
that's true.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, so
I mean, they got to be skipping time with the fucking girls gaining titties when they're flat.
Yeah, you got a point there.
That doesn't happen overnight. I don't know how puberty works with women, but that don't happen overnight, buddy.
But yeah, what you call it? First, Ash reunited with Misty, and there was a wild clauncher. As I was though, basically Misty wanted to catch it, but so as Ash wants to catch it. Also, what I like about these is Ash is like having a rotation of his Pokemon team, so you'll see like a different team each episode.
Oh, nice!
So
he stops in the little Pokemon, the Pokemon cosplay.
Also
got his Pokemon balls.
Yeah. He's in Pallet Town, so he just goes to Professor Oak's while he's fucking his mom. But you know. Also, well, Mr. Mime's doing that now.
You know, is he like is he considered a bad dad because he's got like over 150 children? You could think, right? And he doesn't pay attention to all of them at the same time. Is he the Nick Cannon of anime?
Oh boy.
Is he the NBA young boy of anime?
Probably, I believe it.
You know NBA young boy, right?
Have
you heard of him?
No.
NBA young boy is a young rapper. He's 22. He's got 11 kids. Bro, that motherfucker
what has he been fucking since he was 11?
Bro, he does not know the meaning of pull out at all. Like all his kids are all like relatively young too. Like I think his oldest kid is probably like 5 or 6.
So since like 16.
Madness.
The fuck's a condom?
The fuck is pulling out?
Yeah, exactly. So Misty and Ash have a little mini friendly battle. The winner will get the clauncher. Misty actually won because Ash used a fucking Corphish while forgot what Misty. She used like a high level, like that was fully evolved while Ash used a fucking basic. So that's his fault. And no respect for Psyduck. Psyduck was happy to see Pikachu. Like he's about to go for a hug. Pikachu was running towards him, just jumps over him to hug Misty.
Nobody likes Psyduck.
Hey, I mean, yeah. Like
only the Riri kids like fucking Psyduck.
I'll stop it. And then in the latest episode, I didn't see today's yet, so I'm not really caught up. So I'll watch that tomorrow morning. But they get reunited with Brock, and of course, Brock is still single. He was trying to sleep with this girl, the girl he's been seeing, and he just went, "Oh yeah, I can't wait till you meet my boyfriend."
Oh my god, friend zone.
Yeah. Then Brock was like manipulated by some Pokemon. I think Hatsune. I think that was her name. Like giving illusions and all that shit. Brock gets saved, and now Ash and Brock are all reunite together. Hanging out for a little bit. That ends. All right, we move on. Moving on. All right, Blue Lock.
Your favorite?
Yeah, I like this one. Very good game. We picked up where we left off with Isagi and Nagi against Bachira and Isagi's former teammate Asahi.
Okay.
Not that Asahi.
I was gonna say.
Like not the left last one. But no, basically they're actually going goal, like back and forth. It got to the point where it's 4-4 now, and Isagi's finally figuring out his groove, his formula of what he needs to do. And of course, Bachira, like he almost won the game with that big stiff kick. Like 30 meters or so, but nope.
Glad you said kick after you said big and stiff.
Big and stiff kick. Yes.
You didn't catch that. I did though.
I was like, god damn it. But of course we get a
Hi, mochiron desu ka?
But of course we get a flashback. Yes. Of course we get a flashback of Asahi's how he is at home. Basically, both parents are dead, so it's just him, the older sister, taking care of the siblings. And he talks about how he wants to win soccer, be the best soccer players to help provide for the family. And of course, when you have a flashback like that, it doesn't happen. You're going to lose. And of course.
But of course.
Yeah, but they lost. And so Nagi talks to Isagi. He's like, yeah, we're going to yeah, we're gonna take Baru, and the other guy Asahi, bye bye.
Sayonara.
So yeah,
Sayonara.
so Isagi gets rid of his former teammate, and Asahi tells him like, you better not lose from here on out because of this.
Fair.
That's fair. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't dream of it. So so because Asahi's eliminated, Isagi, Baru, and Nagi is now a team of 3 again, so they're gonna do 3-on-3s to get other players. And in the latest episode, they meet Kurigami and Chigiri, their other former teammates. So they have a third member, which is the person that was with Nagi. The guy, when Nagi's like, hey, fuck off, I'm gonna go with him. So bye, Reo, yeah. So Reo still holds a grudge. So now they all want to fight each other. So 3-on-3 for that game. So basically, Isagi could only take one of his former teammates or Reo to keep Nagi happy. So all that's going on. Chigiri's team scored the first goal. So that was the cliffhanger for that. Moving on. But yeah, nice game for the other one. Depends on how this goes. This might go really well. Looking forward to it. Again, for all former teammates just going up against each other. Alrighty.
It's funny how I'm listening to you talk about anime, but I've got boxing on my TV, so I'm like looking at boxing, actively listening to you talk about fucking Blue Lock.
Yeah. All right. Nier Automata. Oh my god,
your real favorite.
Okay, it's so good. I love the game, so I really cannot complain. So they did a lot, and they did a callback to a Nier Replicant with Kind Sword, and there was a certain scene. So that was a nice callback to that led into Nier Automata.
Sure.
So I was happy with that. And basically, I know Starman, he talked about this one part about the robot orgies.
Robot orgy?
Well, yeah.
Robot orgies? Robot fucking?
No, like it was just like those little tin can looking ones that like mimicking how humans act. Like one of them was just fucking over there. One was like cuddling a baby. You know, there's no baby in it. They're all like acting like how humans behave, but like in this glitching type of loop.
Because that's not weird whatsoever.
It was pretty weird. So
pretty weird.
It was pretty weird, but up top there's like a ball of like discarded, like crumbled. We don't know what it's called though, but it's like it's acting like it's a womb, and something shoots out of it. Yes,
something
shot out of it.
Oh, good God. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not. It's a mechanical being, but it's like an android, like 2B and 9S. And you find out, yeah, it's Adam and Eve, basically. And so basically 2B and 9S, they fucking stab that one, and boom, get shot down. And what you call it? Then another being popped out of that one. Again, from Adam, they make it from Adam's rib. You make Eve. So that happened like that. So they're doing it just like that, like how it was in the game. And then we got that cliffhanger of I got Adam and Eve there, got to fight 2B and 9S. And of course, that's the cliffhanger that gets fucking delayed.
A good point then, I guess, right?
It's like, God damn it. Like, all right, fine.
God damn it.
Yeah, I'll tell you. God damn it. All right, I'm going to talk about the one I did finish on the Netflix series. Junji Ito's Maniac.
Which, by the way, it's on your shirt.
Tales of the Macabre.
Yeah. Who got you that shirt, buddy?
You did for Christmas.
Yeah, over a month late. Shout out to Crunchyroll for being the worst distributors ever. Sean, our editor, don't ever order from Crunchyroll. You will not get your shit. Literally, they sent me an email on January 27th, said your package has been shipped. Estimated time of delivery is 2/2, right? I look, it's still in their fucking warehouse in California. Label created, not given to FedEx. Awful. Simply awful. It's not through lack of effort, Sean. We do want to give you a fucking Christmas gift for being the wonderful editor that you are and putting up with our fucking hours and hours and hours of content and occasional bullshit, and me saying
Exactly.
the word cunt a couple times.
Yeah, or it's anything that pisses him off. But yeah, thank you as always. But Maniac is basically there's 20 short stories being animated. And yeah, the style of it is there, but the animation for it at the same time, it was and okay, I liked reading them, but just watching them was just not the same.
It's one of those where the manga's great, but the fucking anime's
mid. Like it didn't need it. It didn't need to be animated. Like it's hard to capture.
Mid.
I have not seen a good Junji Ito adaptation in anything, whether it's an anime, a game. I know that the Uzumaki one keeps getting delayed. It's now delayed indefinitely. The one that's supposed to be on Adult Swim, that big one that got hyped up for a couple of years. So, yeah, so it's not capturing the true horror of how he does it, and it's just basically awful people drawn weird. That's really it when you get down to it.
Even the children,
actually. Some stories are pretty good, but there was one with the floating heads that had like nooses like as like their necks, so they just grab random people, just hang them. Fucking hang them.
What the fuck?
I know, crazy. One of them.
Is that racist?
No.
If they were blackface, would that be racist?
Yes.
Yes, it would be okay.
We need more Tokyo Fish Attack. Yes.
Is that like Sharknado except Tokyo?
Sure. Sure. But yeah, that one, there was one where these kids turned into ice cream and the other kid got turned into a glutton and started eating his friends while he eventually turned into ice cream. Again, they're very fucking weird. A little disappointed.
Your mind as like a horror artist. Like, what kind of fucking sick and twisted shit?
Happy thoughts, apparently, because again, Junji Ito's happy as fuck in his pictures, while Miyazaki is miserable.
Oh my god.
He's a happy-go-lucky fella. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Nothing great. Again, some stuff was it was just missing something.
Is that a solid 3 or is that like a low 3?
Like a weak 3.
A weak 3.
Yeah. It could have been better. Could have been so much more, but just didn't pull the trigger. All right, one more for me. Vinland Saga. Again, this is great. I know people have been complaining, like, "Oh, where's the violence? Where's the death?" People forget, like, the Vinland season 1 was a prologue, the whole thing. Season 2 is the main story. Like, it's just getting started, and it's a seinen. So basically, you rely more on
semen. What?
Seinen anime.
I know. I'm
semen. It's the semen anime. It's the
semen anime. Jizz everywhere.
Mr. Red. Aubrey Edwards.
Oh my god.
Wilbur. No, stop. But no. Yeah. The Slave Saga is primarily focused on character development. It's the growth of Thorfinn in this thing, because again, he went from just hell bent on revenge to just losing everything, his home, his dad, the person he wanted to get revenge on, that he didn't even get to do it, and just been a slave for years. It's just, again, he has this dead look in his eyes. He lost the will to live. But anyway, the slaver, his son, he was throwing a hissy fit because the dad told him off, that he's a spoiled child, basically.
Right.
So he was like drinking all this, and the bandits that work with him says, "Hey, why don't you just kill someone? Like, if you really want to be a man, just kill someone.
Because that solves everything, right?
Yeah.
All your man problems. Yeah, what? Your balls haven't dropped? Stab somebody in the neck.
Yeah. So basically, they're basically these little group of thugs. They have Thorfinn and Einar. Like, hey, come with us. Like, if we kill a slave, they won't care. That type of thing. And of course the son.
That's so true.
What?
I said, what's sad is that's so true.
Yeah. Pretty much. So the son picks up the sword, and he's a chicken shit. He chickens out.
BB
and Einar, he actually tackles him, starts beating the crap out of him, and then Thorfinn was he was like talking over them, saying like if I just let him kill me, he can go back to work, right? And they're like, yeah, like what do you mean? Like what are you trying to do here?
Sure, that works.
So like, you know what? They're fine. Let him kill me, basically. And Olmar, that's the son's name, Olmar. He picks up the sword, tries to aim it at Thorfinn, and he just won't do it. So the bandit that convinced him to do this whole fucking thing, he grabs it, and he says, "Everyone fears death. I'm going to show you." While I start to like kill, like he's like telling Thorfinn he was scared. He's like, "No, like why? Like why do we have to be Why do we have to be afraid of death? Like why?" Why do people? He said like he has not one good thing happen to him in his entire life.
I just noticed I have a grease stain on my shirt. What the?
Yeah, see, as you point that out.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I just noticed that. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry for interrupting you, Matt. I just noticed that. I was like,
but basically, he's like, I had not one good thing has happened to me, so why do I care about not wanting to die? So that's why he's like, he's not afraid. While this guy's just slashing him in the chest, arms, he cuts off a bit of his ear. All this shit, and then while he was trying to go for the throat to Thorfinn's throat, the actual leader, Snake, he sees them going on, and they all freak out. They stop, like, "Oh shit, sorry," and all this. They're like, "Whose idea was this?" And he's like, "I did it." And Snake just punched that guy in the face. He's out cold. And then he talks to Thorfinn.
Mama said, "Knock you out."
Pretty much, Mama said, "Knock you out."
Knock you out.
And then I'm going to the latest episode, and he talks to Thorfinn, and he asks if he's okay, and he apologizes for his men for being jackasses, basically. And then you see have a hand where his sword is, and he quickly draws it out, and Thorfinn
out.
Yeah, and Thorfinn got a little flashback of Askeladd, the guy that killed his father.
Right.
So his reflexes just acted. He just threw a kick to like block his arm from
bitch.
Sword. And they all freaked out, like, what the fuck? He had like those reflexes and all this. And then Snake told Thorfinn, like, see, your body says it wants to live. You said you want to die, but your body says different.
Your mind's telling you no.
Yes.
But your body is telling you yes.
Oh man, I don't know we were doing a corny / Brian thing where you do the sing it, the moon and the June and the spring.
Fuck it, if we can incorporate it, why not, right?
We could. So yeah, basically, Thorfinn gets his wounds checked out. The guy tells him, "Hey, don't work today. Take the day off." Of course, he fucking ignores that.
Of course.
And he's stubborn. So Einar talks to Thorfinn while they're doing chopping wood. He says, "Hey, were you in war?" Like with how his reflexes were and all those. Like, were you in war? And he said, "Yeah,
beating bitches."
Yeah. And he admitted to that, and he talked about how he killed a lot of people. And then Einar asked him how many, and he said he lost count because it was hundreds of people, basically. And of course, Einar gets a little PTSD with that because, again, soldiers killed his family in the first episode. So Thorfinn,
first episode of season 1?
No, season 2.
Oh,
yeah. So this is like very recent.
Oh.
So Thorfinn asked him, like, "So do you hate me? Because like I know you hate soldiers. Like, so do you hate me then?" It's like, but we got no answer. And then it was nighttime, and then of course Thorfinn has his nightmare screams, and Einar was awake. And this is different in the manga. He thought about doing this, but he chose not to. But in the anime, he's on top of Thorfinn, fucking strangling him to death. Like he was like trying to kill him while Thorfinn is screaming in his sleep. But eventually, Einar just stops himself. And then, of course, Thorfinn wakes up. He's like freaking out, not about the choking, just again his little PTSD nightmares of everything he's done.
Right.
And he was like telling Einar, like, "Why do you keep waking me up?" Like, more like a concern type of waking up, like, "Hey, like it's a dream" type of thing.
Yeah.
And then he says, "You said you had no reason to smile, and you had no reason to live." And he said, "Bullshit, because someone kept you alive, someone saved you. You're here now," type of thing.
Right.
He was trying to be a friend to him, and then he's like, "You know what? I don't like what you did, but it's not like you killed my family. But still, like,
until plot twist, he did.
No, he didn't, because he was a slaver when Einer's family got killed."
Touché.
And then in the last scene, we see King Canute, which is Thorfinn's friend, the first one that basically ruined Thorfinn's revenge.
Mm.
And he has a scar on his face from when Thorfinn cut his face before being arrested.
Mm.
That's there. That was where that episode ended. So good. Again, people, if you want this action, just watch a fucking shonen. Again, if you just let it ride out, and again, this did not drag at all. It was like a 25-minute episode. It felt like 10 minutes. Like, It's not boring. It doesn't drag. It goes by quick. You just like learn about him as a human being. It's the type of thing that Thorfinn's dad went through when he just didn't want to kill anyone anymore. He was that type of thing, but he became like a better warrior.
Right.
I feel like that's going to be the thing for Thorfinn, is a little come of age journey when he's like doing this with Einar. There is action there, but like it's not. That was never the main focus. That they think, and you'll get it just if you stick through it and just join the journey of Thorfinn and Einar. Again, you'll get something. And again, it's gonna keep getting better and better. Manga readers love it. Anime watchers, again, they hate it because boring. Like no. Some of the pacing, sure.
You're fickle. That's what you should be saying. You're fickle.
Yeah, basically fickle. It's
Shout
just one.
Ryan Danielson. Fickle.
Yes, fickle. Again, like we had a slow burn with 2-Year Eternity. Look at where it's at now.
Right.
And which is going to be our main event, but
we'll
get to that later. And I believe that is it for me. Go ahead.
Locally. All right. So mine will be a lot shorter since I'm so behind. So we'll start with one I'm behind on. I think I'm caught up to the other ones. Am I? Yes, Exorcist. I think I am. Yeah. Let me go real quick to see if I am caught up on the rest of these. At this point, everything blends together. I don't even fucking know anymore. Yeah, I'm caught up on that one. Yep, I'm caught up. All right, I'm caught up on these. So I'll just start with the other one. So we'll start with Revenger, which is one of actually the really good series that I've been watching. There's so many good series. It's so tough. This is such a tough season. We'll start with Revenger. I think I picked up on episode 1. So episodes 2 through 4. Is it 2 through 4 or is it 2 and 3? At this stage, I don't even.
I think you talk about the first 2.
Yeah, it's 2. It's 2 and 3. Yeah, it's 2 and 3 because 4. No, it is. No, it's 4. It's 2 through 4 because 5 came out already. Okay, so 2 through 4. We pick off with the description, basically, as I mentioned in our last episode. After he finds that his wife committed suicide, he's kind of like lost. So I gotta get the characters' names. Oh, God damn it! I hate this. I should have got this ready. I'm sorry, guys. Gomen nasai, honto ni gomen nasai. Okay, here we go. So Usui brings Raizo into the fold. Basically, he pays him and everything. His clan, like the rest of his team, are against it, but they're like, hey, dude's got nowhere to go, and why not use his blade? So we basically get kind of more of like a backdrop in terms of like the overall story. Again, they're like kind of like everyone's kind of like a jack of all trades. So we have like I gotta get their goddamn names. It's so difficult trying to look at the thing. Okay, so we have Teppa. Teppa is an actual doctor, and he goes and he tries his best to help out the poor. You have Soji, who's a gambling addict and like a bum, but like he's super cool. He's like super good with like cards and killing people. Neo is our she does like stuff with wires, so she kills people with wires. And she's like kind of a little girl, I guess. I don't know how old she is, but she's fairly young, kind of flat. But basically everybody kind of objects to it. Teppa's cautious but doesn't really object. Soji and Neo are the one who objects. But we basically see him kind of carry out acts for them. So again, the principle of the show is, the show's name is Revenger. The reason why it's Revenger is people will sell off like many of their like possessions to get a gold coin, a specific gold coin. When you bite into the coin, this is your like your what's the word? Not objection. Your what's the word I'm looking for? Like your stance, your declaration. It's your declaration that you have revenge against somebody, and you basically give the coin to one of the members of the group, and they go out and they carry that revenge. Most times it's people that are corrupt, things of that nature. So in episode 2, we see him. We see a series where where there's this like I guess tax guy, and he basically is peddling opium, because again this is set in old Japan, so opium is a huge thing. He's peddling opium and blaming it on others and having them like executed or thrown in jail because of it. So they go after him and they get him. Episode 3, there's a Japanese prostitute, and she's gonna die, I suppose, of cancer, I believe, but she bites into the coin because of the fact that there's this businessman who basically gypped him. He runs like a marriage scam, and like he'll marry a woman, rob her of all her worth, and then just dump her and move on.
Right.
So they go after revenge on her, and it's awesome because you see so much death and blood. It's really cool. Death and blood always sells, guys. So death and blood sells, and yeah, you just a lot of that story is just like, you get the sad stories of, and they're all relative to to that time period, and you just see how Raizo is just adapting and dealing with the fact that he killed his father-in-law, which he still regrets. He drove his fiance to suicide, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're a samurai," and he's like, "No, I'm a what's the word? Ronin. I'm a Ronin now." But he tries to do his best to like kind of adapt. As I said, he even like tries to get a job, but it's kind of weird for him. He hasn't had an actual job other than killing people. So there's that. But again, I'm not doing the story justice because of the fact that I'm not going on an episodic like breakdown of things. But it's a really good series to watch in general, just if you like blood, gore. Oh, and another thing I should mention is that, as we mentioned, Usui has a giant tattoo of the Virgin Mary on his back, and he prays to the Virgin Mary in order to kill his people. He basically puts a gold sheet on their face, prays to the Virgin Mary, reveals his tattoo, and it basically like crushes their windpipe and suffocates them to death. So he works for this monastery. Like they all work for this, like I guess like a church or a monastery, and they are the ones that kind of direct him and the group. But even then, they have reservations about Raizo, and they're probably a lot more evil than meets the eye. Like there's definitely some shady shit going on. You could probably going to lead to a head sometime later in the season, where they're going to have to face the people of the monastery, and that's going to open up another can of worms. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, dude, super solid. Lots of blood, lots of gore, lots of cool shit, and just the backdrop of a man dealing with his past transgressions and trying to atone from them in this new life of continuing to be a murderer. It's actually quite intriguing from that standpoint.
Yes.
Moving on, Mononogatari. Oh, this is another good one. So again, as I had mentioned in the previous episode, Mononogatari is basically the story of Tsukumogami. And Tsukumogamis are basically like evil spirits, and they basically possess items that they're attracted to. So you'll see like one of the characters is to a like a sewing type of needle, or like a hairpin. Sorry, it's like a hairpin. So one is attracted to a hairpin, one is a mirror, one is a sword, and we find out, and I'll reveal that momentarily about what those mean. But basically, the story kind of focuses on our main character, Hyoma, and Hyoma is continuing to kind of deal with the after effects of him talking shit. Basically, he talks shit about the Tsukumogami, made the master of the Tsukumogami who was staying with. Her name is Botan. And keep in mind, they're both college age students. Raizo is 20, I think. Yeah, no, not Raizo. What am I saying? Hyoma is 20 and Botan's 19. So they're college age students. Botan goes to college and everything. And basically they made her cry, and all the Tsukumogami got pissed off. And basically he's like, all right, listen, he's like, if I don't get your guys' approval after 3 days, I'm out. I'll deal with the disgrace. It is what it is. So the episodes focus on how he bonds with each of the Tsukumogami that he's staying with, the good ones. and basically he kind of wins them over. And as he's winning them over, he learns to adapt and kind of cull his hate for the Tsukumogomi. Everything comes into head though when he in the second to last episode that I watched, episode 3, I believe. Yeah, episode 3. So in episode 3, everything comes to head. He's got one last Tsukumogomi to go. Her name is Yu, and Yu hates her because Yu is almost infatuated with Botan, not in like a sexual way, but just, you know, how much she adores her. And so they get caught up in a battle between some evil Tsukumogomi, and Yu traps Kyoma in a fight that they were having. And Kyoma, Yu wants to fight her, like, you're gonna have to beat the signature out of me. And Kyoma's like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fight you, not at this stage. Da 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 da. And he traps her in the hairpin. And the hairpin, her ability basically wraps up the person, so you can easily seal them, because they do seals as their like final technique or whatever. So they end up, the rest of the Tsukumogomi fight the evil Tsukumogomi, and it's basically like a gang of evil Tsukumogomi. But when Hyoma hears that these Tsukumogomi have killed other humans, he reacts in a violent way because of, as we mentioned, his older brother and sister was killed by an evil Tsukumogomi. And we see one of the other characters who kind of stays in the background. Her name is not listed on the list. That's wonderful. And there's two guys. There's like a doctor-esque type of girl, and there's like this big burly dude, and he's like quiet. He just nods his head or says things like that when he approves or denies whatever. So they go see the battle, and they see Hyoma breaks out of the hairpin, which is something that nobody really ever does. He breaks out, and he has these special, like, I guess, like seals that he can put on his hands that erases the Tsukumogomi. Like, it's one thing, he has the ability to seal them, but he has the ability to erase them completely off of the face of the earth.
Right.
The difference with the seal is basically you seal them and you bring them somewhere, and you release them back into like the spirit world so they can live comfortably in the spirit world. But if you erase them, then they're erased from existence. And one by one, he erases like 3 or 4 gang members very cruelly. But the Doctor Tsukumogomi, who's part of the good side, basically is like, I think he'll be the one. And they mentioned that they basically said the man who had everything taken from him and the woman that was saved by them being Tsukumogomi, pronouns pal, they are a perfect match in heaven. And that leads to episode 4, where they're like, hey, we need to talk to you and we need to reveal our ulterior motive. So your grandfather, they basically tell Kyoma, your grandfather asked us to take care of you. We said, sure. But there's another reason why we took them on. And we are basically looking at you to be the prospective husband of Botan. And Botan becomes extremely embarrassed. And they have a habit of basically any guy that she closely interacts with, they basically begin to judge and most times end up driving them away from Botan. So Botan's extremely embarrassed. Hyoma plays it off like nothing. He's like, oh, that doesn't bother me. And he's like, I'm going to go take a run. I'll be back. And he goes outside and he's like, what the fuck is going on? And so the next day, him and Botan have a talk, and Botan's like, "Hey, I don't want you to worry about what they're saying. Just be you." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not worried about it." He's like, "I don't care about any of that. I'm not looking at you in any way, shape, or form." And a couple of the Tsukumogomi, specifically, their names are Kagami and Suzuri. And they get pissed off, like, yo, that's not what you're supposed to do. You just offended her. Like, she's not like a woman for you. You're not looking at her as a woman. Like, you don't think she's good. Da 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 da. You better fix it. So he's like, fuck. All right. So he goes over to try and fix it. And the leader of the gang basically goes, and his power is like dust. And I forgot to break that down. Going backwards, when they tell him that the marriage proposal, we find out that each of them, the sword, the hairpin, the mirror, and a couple other ones, basically they all manifested themselves in wedding gifts, which you would give to wedding. So their ultimate goal of happiness is to see their master happy and get married, hence the whole thing with the marriage, which I thought was pretty unique. But anyway, going back to the fight, basically Botan is kind of trapped at this big burly dude that has the ability to just fucking spread ash and choke her to death. And then Hyoma, trying to freaking apologize, ends up rescuing her. And then a couple of you and the other fellow who's the sword, Nagi, they basically go and they attack the evil Tsukumogomi. They seal him. Everything's all good. And then he and Botan basically have like a moment between them. Hyoma and Botan have a moment between them where he's like, listen, I don't want you to think like I don't look at you or see you as a woman. You're a very, capable woman, da 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 da. And he's like fumbling his words, fucking up because he's nervous, things like that. And she just starts laughing because, again, she's just such a kind-hearted woman. And she sees like the positivity and the potential in Hyoma. And I thought that was really sweet from that standpoint. So again, demons, fighting, and a love story with college-age people. So, and there's not really fan service at all. So sounds like a winner to me. Moving on.
What we got left?
Moving on. We'll go with Reborn to Master the Blade. It's funny. I've been asking people like, hey, what would you do if you wanted to be reincarnated? And they said, okay, but you were turned into the opposite sex. How would you feel? How would you feel, Matt, if you were reincarnated into a cis woman?
Oh, is that why you asked that question in the group chat?
Yes, from this show.
How old am I?
From birth.
Oh.
From birth, and now at the latest episode, she's 15 years old. So the first episode is birth, and she's a baby. Second episode, she's 6. Third episode, she's 12. Fourth episode, she's now 15. And I think she's gonna stay around 15 for the remainder of the series.
At first, I touched myself, and then I also freak out.
Well, you're a baby.
If I'm a baby, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna fucking know. I'm just gonna cry.
Yeah, you're a baby. And then
yeah,
it's funny because you see our main character, Inglis, is like, wow, I'm growing into a pretty woman. And then, he's like, I understand why people think I'm pretty. But then he's like creeped out by guys. And she's like, I don't want to deal with guys at all. Da 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 da. I'd feel weird with her weird smile on the OP. Oh, you watch it. Nice, Chris.
Yeah. He watches a little more than I do.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little weird, but she's so badass, dude. So basically, starting from episode 2, she's 6, and again, the whole purpose of this reborn to master the blade, she asked to be reborn so she can master the blade, and she becomes OP as fuck because this world is dominated by magic. However, she has a power that this world doesn't know about called ether. It's so powerful. When you become 12, you basically end up like they call it a baptism, and you're basically given a seal, and like you have like your regular seal, your greater seal, and like an ultimate seal. And if you have a greater ultimate, you're more privileged, whatever. When she puts her hand in like a jar to get her seal, she uses ether to rebound the mana because they use mana since it's magic. Rebound the mana, so she gets no seal purposely, so she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to be a protector. She doesn't have to be a queen or something like that. And at first, her father's like upset, like, oh, how can my precious daughter, who's so gifted, not have any magic? That makes no sense. But she's like, it's okay. I'm going to be a squire for her best friend. Her best friend's name, I'm forgetting this second. Give me one moment. What did I say? Reborn. Nope, that's reborn. Here it is. Reborn. Her best friend's name is Rafinha. What do they call her? Rafi? I think Rafi is what they call her.
Rafi?
Yeah, I think they call her Rafi. Anyway, so things progress. Basically, she faces an evil guy, like an evil like squire type of guy, and beats his ass at 6 years old. The guy's like 12 at the time. Beats his ass at 12. The next episode comes and she's now 12, and the guy turned himself into a Highlander. And so basically the world breakdown is they live on the surface world, and there's a world that floats around this world, and they're the Highlanders, and they're basically like these supreme beings of the world, and they provide them like tech so they can protect themselves, and the Highlanders provide them with grains and food and other things that are only found on the surface world. But we find out, starting with this guy, his name is Rawl, that the Highlanders are all or most of them are pieces of shit. They're very pieces of shit, and they're awful. So with Rawl, basically, there's a powder, like a drug that's created called what the fuck? It's like monster powder, basically. I forget there's a specific name for it, but I'm forgetting it. But it's called like monster powder. It's like so I'm fucking this up really badly, but
it's okay.
I'm fucking this up really badly.
You're drinking.
It's just there's so much to explain without having a cohesive like story because I'm recapping multiple episodes. I've only had one drink. I finished my first drink. So in this world, there's magical beasts. They're called beasts, basically magicite beasts or something along those lines. And when you kill them, you can harvest the powder from them. If you give this powder to a Highlander, it basically robs them of their humanity and they become magicite beasts, like high level magicite beasts. And you have to kill them in order to defeat them. So somebody slipped that into Raw's drink. And we find out the people that slipped it in his drink are like this guerrilla group called like the Bloodborne Wrath. And the Bloodborne Wrath basically want to kill all the Highlanders and steal their tech, and that way they can protect themselves and the regular world that they're in, right?
Right.
Ground world. So, but they're again guerrillas. They do horrible things to try and get there, etc. To get their ends to their means. So in the end, they end up killing Rawl. Or I should say, what's her face? Inglis kills Rawl, but Inglis doesn't want anybody to know about her her power. So she asks the woman who's there. Shut up, Papa. Is her name here? No. Lise? Is that her? Lise? Might be Lise. We'll call her Lise for now. Lise. She asked Lise, who's like this powerful, like holy knight, like say, hey, you killed it. You fucking kicked it 1 billion meters away. That's how powerful it is. She kicked a fucking beast like across the town, over a wall, into a forest outside of the town with a single kick. Like, she is ridiculously OP. And again, she has the power of ether, and she's able to basically convert it. One of her key techniques is she's able to convert her ether into mana, and she turns like Super Saiyan kind of. It's kind of cool. Like, she has like the Super Saiyan glow and shit, and she like when she's done, she looks like Ultra Instinct. It's pretty badass. But anyway, she's like, hey, I don't want you to like let them know, like take the credit, And Lisa's like, all right, that's fine, but you owe me a favor one day. Okay, whatever. Move on. Next episode, she's now 15. She enrolls her and Rafi enroll in the magic school, and along the way, they stop in a town because they eat like pigs. They are gluttons. Like they eat like Goku. I kid you not, they eat like Goku.
Oh man.
They eat like Goku. The freaking the bulls are stacking, and they're spending money, so they're running low on money. So they're in this town, and they speak to the mayor of the town. We found out the mayor of the town is a Highlander, but unlike Raul, who's a piece of shit, the mayor of the town is actually pretty good.
Right.
She asked them to do her a favor, like, hey, I have these rogue knights basically, and I need you to help me defeat them because they're causing havoc around town. Sure, no problem. We get paid, all good. They go. And they end up facing this rogue group, and there's like this powerful woman. We find out later she's part of the Bloodborne Knights. But the Bloodborne Wrath. Sorry, the Bloodborne Wrath. She's part of the, but we find out later on. But in any case, Inglis fights her, easily defeats her, but she lets her escape when basically she takes Rafi as a hostage. But during the fight, she mentions like, how can you protect the Highlanders, those bastards? You know what they're doing. And in the episode, there's a little bit of fan service. They're in a bath, and Rafi like is holding onto Inglis's tits, because like, oh, you have such big tits, they're so nice. Like, I'm so flat, and they're 15-year-old girls at this time, so they're conscious of their bodies and stuff. Inglis is embarrassed. She has sensitive tits. We find out. So anyway, she's like, she notices while they're in the bath though, she's like, there's something sucking the mana out of the air. What is going on, right? And so can't figure it out, is what it is. They end up fighting the people. She's like, how can you fight the Highlanders? They're so fucked up. And after the fight is over, the Highlanders like, hey, I need to talk to you about something. I need your opinion. She takes them down to like the basement of like the town like center, and there's a humongous magical circle. And she explains to them that wherever a Highlander goes, they put this circle there, and eventually it basically drains the mana in order to fill the circle. When it drains the designated amount of mana, the ground lifts up and becomes part of the Highlander location from the surface world. It becomes part of the Highlanders floating land. And basically they're like, what happens to the humans that get lifted up with the town? Well, they're like, well, we give them the option to leave. If they choose to come up, then we kill them, or they become our slaves. Like, wow, what pieces of fucking shit. Pieces of shit. But this Highlander's like, I don't want that. Like, what do you think I should do? And she's like, well, it is what it is. Don't do anything rash. They ask Rafi, and Inglis is like, well, you're the smart. Rafi tells Inglis, like, you're the smart one, you're the best one. And they're like, yeah, but I'm your squire. You're the one with the greater seal, because Rafi has a greater seal from her blessing. So you have to make the decision. So they're like, oh, It's fine. You know, like we'll be here. We'll come back. Hire me as your holy knight, and we'll protect you. And we'll fight you. We'll fight against the Highlanders with you because she basically wants to turn against the Highlanders, and so she's cool with that. But someone slips her the magic powder, the beast powder. She loses her soul. She becomes a magic beast. They have to fight her, and we see this woman come back. The woman I told you as part of the Bloodborne Wrath, and we end up seeing the leader of the Bloodborne Wrath. And this guy right now is more powerful than Inglis. Inglis doesn't have the power. It's not in her body, whatever, to defeat him right now. So they have a little bit of a battle, but their prioritization is to save the woman. What's her name? Fuck. Seika is her name. I think it's Seika. Yeah, her name is Seika. So they want to save Seika, the Highlander, but they're like, fuck, she's attacking everybody. But when she sees these orphan girls that have been close to her throughout the episode, you see there's bits of humanity in her, and she stops herself from killing them. And she's like, fuck, I'm going to kill myself. So she goes to kill herself, but Inglis and Rafi are like, no, don't do that. So they're like, listen, I'm going to make, so Inglis goes to the head of the Bloodborne Wrath and is like, hey, I'm going to make you a deal, right? I want you to distract her, and we're going to find a way to stop her. And the Bloodborne Wrath is like, fine, but you're going to leave this town immediately after this is over. And she's like, well, what about the people? And they're like, don't worry, we're not going to harm the people. We only care about
the people. Fuck the people.
We're not going to harm the people. We just care about the magic circle that's in there, right? So she's like, all right, deal. So they basically join forces for this battle. They're able to distract Seika, and they basically stop her. They freeze her, right? Inglis freezes her, but she's still giant as fuck, and she still doesn't really have her humanity. So the leader of the Bloodborne Wrath is like, I'm going to do you a favor. And he basically uses his power, sucks all of the mana out of Seika. So she got no more mana, and she turns into this like tiny little beast, right? Frozen. She turns into this tiny little beast, and she's like, she's never going to be able to return back to a normal size. She's never going to return back to being human, but we saved her, right? That's what you wanted. You wanted her saved? Okay, good. Now leave the town. Okay, no problem. They leave the town. They go back on their way to their magical school that they're enrolling to. And we see Seika is now a tiny little beast. Like, then becomes basically their pet in a way. And she likes Inglis's tits and is crawling all over Inglis's tits in the episode. So there's that one. Moving on. I got three more. We'll go with Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist. Another good one featuring another OP guy. Ridiculous. Let me get his name. 1 second. Chota mate kudasai. Gomen nasai. Mate. Reborn. Reincarnation. Here we go. Wakata. Okay. So we get Seika. His name is Seika. Go figure. There's Saline was the other woman. It was not Seika. It was Saline.
Okay.
The main character of this. So Seika, again, goes into this magical school with his slave, Aoife, and they have to take the magical entrance exam, and they fucking do fantastic. But they have this other girl who's a commoner, and she's even more powerful than them. Her name is Amuyu. They call her Amu for short. And Amu has all the ability of all the lights. She's super powerful, like all that shit. And we come to find out more about her in the later episodes. But basically, the second episode focuses on the third episode, because I skipped the second episode where they had the battle, whatever. I think I mentioned that one. But in any case, in episode 3, basically they take the test, everything is good, they all pass, and Seiko wants to get closer to Amu because of the fact, like, oh, she's powerful, I need somebody like that on my team. And basically Amu's like, no, I want nothing to do with her, and she's very antisocial, very like, she doesn't like people, like she's really bitchy, right? And so as they progress, basically Aoife again is powerful herself, and so the top 2 ranking, Aoife's 2 and Amu's 1 and Seika's 3, and so the top 2 people have to basically take part in like a ceremony, and they're like, okay, well, Seiko asked the teacher, like, what if Aoife doesn't want to go? They're like, well, we'll take the third person. So he basically commands Aoife, like, don't go. Right. And everybody gets like, oh my God, what an asshole. He's fucking like taking advantage of his slave. But it's not like that at all. Like, they're very, like, you know, they're very cool. And Aoife does love Seika, but Seika's too stupid to realize it because he doesn't understand women. And on top of that, we find out later, because he was taken advantage of by people he trusted in his past life when he was before he was reincarnated, he doesn't have a trust of people to that extent. Like, he'll use people, he'll be friendly with them, but he doesn't truly trust them with all his heart.
Right.
So along the way, as this is happening, let me back up actually, because I missed something as part of episode 2. The end of episode 2 sees him fight a fucking demon, like a giant fucking demon. And we see Amu take on some lesser demons. And where the teachers couldn't kill the lesser demons, Amu killed them with her bare hands. But she's inflicted with some sort of like sickness as a result. So along the way, they basically do the ceremony, and they're trying to talk. And Amu's like, oh, like, are you fucking Aoife? Basically straight up asked, like, are you fucking Aoife? And he's like, no. And he's like, oh, have you touched her boobs? No, she's my slave, but we're very cool. I don't take advantage of her. And, you know, she's very kind. I
why not?
treasure her dearly. Kind of. So, basically along the way, Seika finds something like strange. And so he goes over to this magical circle, and they basically get transported to a dungeon, and the dungeon is under the location they needed to be at for this ceremony. So they have to fight the monsters in the dungeon. They fight them no problem. And he was impressed with Seika because of how good he is, like with his like unknown techniques. Because again, he doesn't use magic either. He was born without magic in this world, but he has spiritual power. So he's able to use the spiritual powers from his past. He just needs to develop them as he gets older. And so along the way, they're fighting, and Amu is afflicted by this illness. And so he puts up a barrier, and he's like, oh, are you still sick? Like, are you hurting? Because she was getting massive migraines. And she's like, no, I'm completely fine. And he's like, And she's like, I've checked all over my body. I can't find anything. And then she's like, would you check for me? So she strips butt ass naked, and he fucking checks. Not sexually, but he checks. And he's like, no, there's nothing on you. Puts the barrier. It's fine. Like, okay, you're afflicted with a curse. We'll deal with the curse later. But as they continue to talk, basically, we find out that Amu is a battle junkie. Like, she's like she loves battling. She loves fighting. Her goal is to be the most powerful person. And it's basically alluded to by a couple of the teachers, which we'll get into the story of one of the teachers toward the end of this description, that she might be the hero. And there's not a hero in this world, but she might be the hero because she can use all 4 properties, and she's super strong for a 12-year-old or 13-year-old or however the fuck old she is, right? So the rest of the way they go through, they fight the monsters together. They have really good team chemistry, and they actually become relatively close as a result of their ordeal. And so back to the teachers. Before episode 3 really gets underway, there's a moment with Seika, Aoife, and one of the teachers. The teacher dropped this like weird like fucking liquid, and we find out later on it's monster blood. And they're like, well, why do you have monster blood? So after everybody returns, they tell them everything that happens. And Seika, being the genius that he is, puts 2 and 2 together and realizes like, oh, the person that or demon blood, not monster blood, it was demon blood. So they're like, oh, you're the person that cursed Amu. And he's like, well, what do you figure that? He's like, this curse, basically, you get afflicted when you are doused in monster blood, and it slowly drains you. She was I keep saying monster blood, demon blood. And of course, Ami was doused in demon blood when she took down the lesser demons. So it's easy to track, who does the curse. My specialty is curses. And so he reveals himself as basically like a demon that kind of like possessed like a human body, kind of like a Professor Quirrell from Harry Potter in a way when Voldemort possessed him.
Right.
So, he's like, oh, I'm going to kill you. And then, of course, Seiko being OP as fuck, he's like, no, you're not. So what he does is he basically douses himself in the demon blood, accepts the curse under him, and you can only curse somebody once in like this circle, this magical circle that the demon made. So you can only curse somebody once. He takes the curse upon himself and then uses like his reverse, like the reverse magic, basically with his spiritual powers, and afflicts the curse onto the professor. The professor starts fucking bleeding out of every orifice. And he's like, how could you do this? Like, what the fuck are you? And he's like, you can't kill somebody with a curse that knows everything about curses. And he walks away all gangster. And that's basically how that episode ends. Oh no, the episode doesn't quite end there. Basically, Seika tries to talk to Amu in public and was like, hey, Amu. And she's like, don't talk to me. And he's like, what the fuck? And Seika has one of his spirits, like one of his I guess what's the word I'm looking for?
Ghosts?
Yeah, kind of like a ghost, summons, because he does summons. So he has one of his summons, and it travels her around. She's really tiny, and she's like, oh, don't worry about her. She's just really embarrassed after everything that happened in dungeon, so you're fine. She still likes you, and we find out her and Aoife become relatively close because of the fact that Aoife helped Amu study. So that was cute. The end of the episode. Anyway, 2 more. We'll go with Boruto next. Boruto again has been pretty good. We're continuing on with the Sasuke Shinden, and basically, did I mention Saki is the sensei in the last episode? I think I did, right?
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, I did. So basically, Sakura is helping Sasuke out, but at this point, we know that there's a rat amongst his group. I'm pretty confident I know who the rat is. I forget his name.
Ooh, you dirty rat!
Yeah, he's a rat, but he's a blonde guy. I forget his name. Of course. Yeah, he's a blonde. But basically, the episodes focus on once they find out what the I forget the name of the book, like the 12 things, whatever the fuck it is, right? Once they find that out, they basically devise a plan to get into the warden's cellar. The warden, I'm forgetting his name. Zansul. Zansul is the warden. So they devise a plan to get into Zansul's cellar. And so basically there's a messenger coming from this town to get a message from Zansul. And Sakura brings him into a room, and Sasuke uses Genjutsu, knocks him unconscious. Excuse me. Knocks him unconscious. And from there, Sakura transforms into him, right? Transforms into the messenger and basically brings Sasuke as a staff where he can transform. And I'm watching this boxing thing real quick as well. Anyway, so he transforms and she basically buys time. She buys him time, and it almost gets caught with this product. And so the main message of what they're saying is don't worry, I'm gonna have the product. And she tries to get more information, but Zansu starts to get suspicious and doesn't say anything. So all right, whatever, is what it is. This buys Sasuke enough time to basically get into the cellar. When he gets into the cellar, he finds a bunch of chickens, and he's like, well, that's weird. He finds like a whole giant chicken coop. And as he keeps going in the cellar, he finds like a sacrificial altar, table type of thing. And he also finds a bunch of fossils. And we find out that the prisoners are digging the fossils out and bringing them to Zansul. So they're like, what the fuck? So he puts 2 and 2 together, and he realizes oh, these beasts, because they're extinct beasts. They're like, how the fuck are these beasts extinct? And he's like, oh, he's not cultivating them. He's using what's it called? What the fuck is it called? The reincarnation, the forbidden reincarnation technique. I forget what his name. Not Shinda Tensei. That's the fucking push one. Fuck, I forget what it's called. Anyway, Rine Tensei, whatever the fuck it is. Anyway, the reincarnation. I wanted to say it in the because it's old school Naruto, but I forget the name of it right now. Anyway, they're using the reincarnation technique, basically. Reanimation jutsu. The reanimation jutsu. That's what it is. Anyway, so he's using reanimation jutsu, and he's like, oh well, maybe I can reverse it. So he gets into a fight with one of the beasts, one of the Menos, and basically he sacrifices his arm, his good arm. He only has one arm, so he sacrifices his good arm and is able to basically put his chakra into the beast. And then he's able to, once he does that, use his Sharingan once his chakra is in there to calm the beast down. And now the beast listens to him, and that's pretty cool. He sends it on its way. He gets his treatment, and then we see basically the end of the episode where the mole, who's the guy in his cell, is basically doing the reanimation jutsu. What's it called? He's like, oh, my collection is nearly complete, and he reanimates a pterodactyl type of looking fucking animal. So he's basically taking. Yeah, so it's almost like fucking Jurassic Park meets fucking Naruto in this instance. First they went with Squid Games, now they're going with Jurassic Park. But it's still really good shit in general. The other thing, oh wait, no, I just said it already. Never mind. I said that already. I said that last week about the ring. All right, no, that's it for Boruto. And then finally, High Card, which you are going to pick up, Matt. Should I go into terrible detail with this since you're going to pick this up?
Only if you want.
Basically with High Card, let me pull up the character names again. So hard. This is the first time that I'm really having difficulties with fucking names because I'm watching so many animes.
I know, and we're almost an hour in.
I know, dude. Well, you took about 35 minutes. I took another 40 minutes or so that made sense. So Finn.
Yeah, it was 37 I finished.
It was 37, yeah. So I'm already at 37 myself. Okay. I'm on my last one, so that's not too bad. A little bit more. Anyway, so high card, you have Finn, and Finn basically after episode 1 gets adapted into this group. I forget the name of the group. Don't ask me the group. But basically their cover is there are luxury car salesmen, and they all work for this company. And over the course of time, basically like their day jobs where they make their real money is to be part of this company that sells the luxury cars to luxury clientele. But in the nighttime, and their side jobs is to collect the cards. And so you just see various battles between this group and the various people that have the cards. And basically Finn gets to know each of his new comrades, and he basically kind of like endears himself or tries to endear himself to them. And it's really cool from that perspective. Again, lots of blood, lots of killing. And it's just the principle of the cards, the various cards, 52 playing cards. They each have powerful techniques. The more higher you go, the higher it is. Like for example, one of the guys, Chris, he's like, I think like the 7 of diamonds or some shit like that. So he has immortality as long as he's in play. This other person has like this other woman has I forget what's her name. Her name is Wendy, and Wendy has the ace of hearts, and the ace of hearts is like this fucking sword. And when she draws a sword, shit gets fucking nutty. It gets wild and violent, and you'll see that in the latest episode from High Card, which is episode 4, I believe. It was episode 4. So I don't want to get into too much detail since you're getting into it. We can go over it once you're caught up. We should be caught up next week, so you should be good there. But it's really good. It's one of the great ones this season as well. If you just love fucking like battles and death and with a unique premise.
Alrighty. Shall we get to togethers?
Yeah, let me pour myself my second drinky drink.
And my apple's kicking in.
It's kicking in.
I'm tired.
Oh shit, we got another hour and a half to go at minimum, buddy. Probably more.
There's no soliloquies for these half hours.
No, there's not. I'm gonna have to fucking. I finished this bottle, so that's good. I could toss this.
All right, let's go with Fire Hunter.
So I was a little bit unsold on Fire Hunter, and I must admit, like I'm still like not 100% on board with it, but it's unique enough to, and like it's intriguing enough, especially.
Yes, Chris. The ED slaps.
Yeah, I love it. The ED is fucking amazing, and so I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, the animation was really weird at the end of episode 2. It was it was like a random like slideshow type, like a storybook ordeal.
Yeah, and if you notice the animation throughout the season as well, like they're cutting in and out. So like you'll have like normal animation, and then you'll have like you said, like a picture. Like it looks like they're like talking directly from the manga.
Right.
But it's really detailed as well. So I thought that was relatively unique.
Yeah, and we actually get an introduction to another character on the other side, Kyoshi.
Yes.
Who he knows the master of the weapons, the father that Toku's returned the weapon to.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know his name by any chance?
The master?
Yeah, the one that took in.
Oh,
the one that took in Kyoshi.
I forget his name. No, I don't remember his name.
I got Yo Suichi.
Okay.
Yep. You. He was talking to his gentleman named Kyoshi. He's talking about like how he's like there's like a scholar type thing. Like
he's a scholar. His mother dies of the toxins from his factory, and his sister is afflicted with illness from that same factory as well.
Yeah, so this is basically his way of like trying to pay him back, type of thing, trying to make
on top of his father dying. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's come live with me, and like I'll teach you everything. You get access to archives, all this, everything he needs to know.
And his father collected Skyfire, and Skyfire is the most pure fire that you can get, and it's the most powerful fire. And he's like, I want you to turn Skyfire into like the next level. And he's like, I don't think I could do it. And he's like, no, you're the only person I think that can do it.
Well, first he declines because of his sister.
Yes.
And he says, well, what if you both live with me? Like she'll get the best doctors.
Right.
So basically, yeah, it's a 2-for-1 deal. Basically, that's what he wants.
Right.
And he gets that. Now I actually love how it gives the title card of who we're focusing on. So like one's Kyoshi and the other one's Toko.
Yes, that's unique. They switch back and forth. They're like, this is his story. This is her story.
Yeah, and on this side, Toko is also is still on the train, but she's doing some work around the train because basically she can't ride for free.
Right.
So
She's
basically,
cleaning toilets, cleaning the floors.
Yeah, and she's there with 2 other people that are part of it. Like I think they're being like sold off like arranged marriage.
3 people. There's three. There's three.
There's 3.
3 girls, and they're afflicted with quote unquote curses themselves, where basically their villages were afflicted with hard times, and the villages basically
That's hard times, daddy.
Hard times, daddy. But so they basically, in order to try and get rid of these hard times, they sold them off to be fucking wives, basically. So sold them off into marriage, thinking that would help the village, which probably didn't, but whatever.
No, they just want to think that.
Right.
So Toko's getting along with the girls. Even Kanata is trying to eat food, I guess. I don't know, or do some type of work.
Yep.
But on this train, there was also another fire hunter there.
Yes.
What was it? The one with the beard?
No clue.
Okay, because I guess his name was Enzen.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go with Enzen for now.
Okay.
If he has a beard. But they were talking, then eventually
guy with a beard. That's specific.
Yes, guy with the beard. Well, I'm looking at the cast list. He's like the only one that looks like a fire hunter. That's not the guy that died in the first episode. So I'm gonna go with him.
Touche.
All right, and then what'd you call it? What happened with the train? Like, did it crash? Stop?
It stopped because it stopped twice. It stopped once because to get refilled. So they're gonna kill a fire beast. And then the second time it stopped because there was a giant fucking beast, and that's where the last episode ends, with this giant fucking beast. So you'll go with the first beast if you're talking about the story where the one girl who's, I forget her name, that's really quiet, tries to fucking escape, and Toko goes after her.
Right. So all that's going on. That was where we got that weird animation. I thought it was gonna be like a fighting sequence. But we didn't get that. But anyway, we're going back to Kiyoshi. And now, the sister's being taken care of. Things are going well. And this father figure says, "Hey, I want to show you something." Not like that. Calm down. But
I wasn't thinking that.
I was like, "I want to show you something in the basement." But what weapon was it? Do you remember?
It wasn't a weapon. It was just the Skyfire.
Okay, I thought it was in the form of they put in like a weapon or something.
No, it's just the Skyfire, and that's when he's like earlier in that episode. Basically, he mentioned that, hey, I want you to be the savior of this nation because of the fact that the government's going to go down. And he's like, well, why do you think the government's going to go down? Blah, 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 blah. And he basically just says, the government's corrupt and like they're fucking up the people, whatever. Like, I want you to basically hone Skyfire so that way, you can lead a new like revolution amongst the people, and we can, take control of what we were supposed to. And he basically goes over the story. I don't know whether he knows it because he was there or he just knows the details because of how it's like taught in their history. But basically, he goes over the story of like the great cataclysm that happened, taken from Fire Force, but where everybody basically starts, dying of spontaneous combustion because of the fire and things of that nature. So he's like, we don't want that to happen, or that may happen again, something along those lines, and we want you to hone the Skyfire so you can protect us and lead a new revolution, so that way we're liberated from this.
Right.
He's like, I believe in you. Will you believe in me? Da da da. He's like, yes, I will. And he's basically turned him for him.
Gotcha. But like I said, like you said, you're still sticking with this, right?
Yes, I will. I'll still stick with it.
Yeah. Again, the premise is there. I like the concept. I am curious about how the world's gonna go.
It's a slow burn. This is definitely one of those that's going to be a slow burn. But there's uniqueness to it.
But yeah, just hopefully it picks up.
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Yeah, so if we get that, then great. All right, moving on. Kuba won't let me be invisible.
So this is one I haven't seen the last episode.
All right, so you didn't see the Valentine episode. Okay. No, all right, so I gotta try to refresh my memory. Was this the one where he was like looking at a book, or we talked about it already?
Looking at a book.
Like it was being teased by Kubo's sister.
We didn't talk about that, no.
Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, but yeah, we get the introduction of.
Oh yeah, the Eki book. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. We get an introduction to Nagisa's older sister.
Yes,
Akira. But actually, before that, though, we see Junta's younger brother, Sieta, and they're like playing the park.
He's adorable.
He's adorable, yeah. Very cute.
Oh, that was so adorable.
But the Shirashi siblings were like playing in the park. Kubo meets them. She has like a drink in her hand, and now, of course, the little brother.
It's like a hot
coffee
or hot cocoa. Hot cocoa.
Yeah, hot cocoa, hot coffee. And he's like, I want.
Okay.
And then, she gives it to him, and he goes, like, oh yeah, he likes sharing stuff back. So like, yeah, you can have it back.
Yeah.
So that was cute. It's like, oh.
And she gave it to fucking Kubo, and Kubo's like, I don't want any. And then she's like, are you scared of a little indirect kiss?
And then just getting this glare is like,
No.
First, like, look at your brother. The brother was giving the glare.
Yeah, he's like, gulp.
It's like, you better fucking drink it right now, or I swear to God,
I'm gonna cry.
Yes, I'm gonna cry
and pee myself.
Yes, I'm gonna pee myself. That part happened. The little guys hanging out. They're all hanging at the park, all three of them, having a nice time. Mm-hmm. And we get to the next part where Shirashi was at the bookstore. Mm-hmm. And this is where we see Kubo's sister.
He wanted to get a poster that's inside of for a game
book, yeah.
But it's unfortunately inside of like not an ecchi book, but it's inside of like a bikini magazine.
Right.
So, but there was a bunch of guys looking at books, and he didn't want to get close because they don't see him. He can't get around. He actually tried to get in the elevator, or not the elevator, the automated door, and the automated door wouldn't even see him.
Yeah. That was we talked about that the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they didn't see him. And then when he goes there and he's like, all right, I'm gonna get my magazine, I'm gonna leave. I came all the way, nobody's gonna recognize me. And he's like, oh, this is an ecchi book. He's like, oh, I'll just put it back. And he's like, well, like, I'm all the way, no one's gonna recognize me.
And of course we got the
Yep. And then we get fucking Kubo's sister, who we don't know is Kubo's sister yet, although you can figure that out, but he doesn't know that yet.
We get he can't figure it out, like how does she notice me? How is she?
Yeah, how does she see me?
I guess it's
like no one sees me. How does he see me?
It's a Kubo thing, I guess, but
it is. It's a Kubo thing.
Yeah, so that happens, and then got to the point where he dropped his ID, but the sister has it, and he's talking to Nagisa about it. Like, oh yeah, I found a boy that had like it was looking at a dirty magazine and all this.
Yeah, do you know him? She's like,
and he's like, oh, you do? Okay, all right. And then
is it senpai? Not senpai. What the fuck am I saying?
No, the same class, yeah.
Yeah,
we'll get to them next, but and then she's against all kinds of like, does he like big tits?
That was funny.
And then just staring, like, so did you pick up anything interesting in this bookstore? It's like, no. I was like,
do you like big tits? Huh?
Yeah.
And if she rushes out, she's like, I can't believe I asked the guy I like, does he like big tits? What's wrong with me?
Yep. And then she's like, I don't want to hear it. Like, oh, you're fine.
Yep.
But we get to this last part, which was the Christmas episode.
No.
Because she asked him, like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, she was like,
you skipped the part. You also skipped the part. I think it was in episode 2 where she was like, oh, how come I never see you? Like, oh, I get up a little early, whatever. So she gets up early. She puts on her sister's like expensive hairspray. The sister starts recognizing, like, oh, it's for a guy, huh? That's why you use my expensive hairspray.
Like, shut up.
And she's like, oh, okay. And then that's when they lead into the episode where she meets him.
Yeah, like they're not talking about the big boobs anymore. That like nothing happened.
Right.
And it's like, all right, hey, are you free next Friday? He doesn't know what day that is. So he's just like, look, you just look at it, like,
he's like looking at his schedule, and he's like, his schedule has nothing.
Yep. And let me check the schedule. Nothing. Oh yeah, I'm free. He's like, oh yeah, so you go ahead next Friday? Sure. And it looks at it again, it's like, oh, that's Christmas. Like, wait, she wants to spend Christmas with me.
That was adorable.
That was cute. And then they're at the mall now, and she has a gift. She has a gift for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I don't have gifts. I know, that's why we're here. You have 15 minutes to find a gift at the mall. So of course he's freaking out. He doesn't know what type of gift. Together, like, oh, Like
and you skipped that. You skipped that he was there 30 minutes early.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was there 30 minutes early.
He's 30. Like, how long? I just got here. And Kubo grabs his hands, and is like, "Your hands are cold. How long have you been here?" Like, about 30 minutes.
Yeah, but when he was talking about cold hands, because he's like, "Oh shit, I got to wait early for it," and he realized that she wasn't wearing gloves.
Yep.
And so that's gonna be his gift for her. Doesn't wrap it, but it's like in the bag. She takes it, and there's an adorable visual when she gets it out. She loves it.
Yeah, she's like, you really thought it was cute. She's like, you really
very
thought
thoughtful
about it, and yeah, it's very thoughtful. You spent time on this because he was late coming back as well.
Yeah,
and so she's like, oh well, I'm gonna have to get a better gift because I got you a T-shirt that says "Look at me" or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, and then he's like, nah, keep it. It's fine.
He's like, I'll keep it. It's fine. He's like, you thought about me. That's fine. That's all that matters.
Exactly. Exactly. But this is really cute.
It is really cute.
It's a shame that we gotta wait.
It's a shame we have to wait, and it's also a shame it's getting outshined by the other two rom-coms of the season.
Yeah, one of them is our co-main. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But let's move on now. Speaking of rom-coms, Nagatoro Season 2.
This is so funny. This season is so much funnier.
Yeah, we already talked about the first 2 episodes from the premiere.
Yeah.
So so this next one is basically, it's a race. It's a physical race type of thing.
Yes.
So Nagatoro teases a senpai. Like,
Senpai's practicing. Senpai's starting to practice on his own. He wants to do well. And he sprains his ankle the day before.
Right. And he doesn't tell anyone about it.
Right.
But that's why he's going at his own pace type of thing.
Yep.
And of course, Nagatoro and the 3 girls, the other bullies, the nicer ones. That why is this
the whore, the cool one, and the stupid one?
Yes, the whore, cool, and stupid.
The whore, the cool, and the stupid.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, she only says one word, like copying them type of thing.
Yeah.
She's a follower.
Python.
Yep.
It's fucking stupid.
Or just loser, or yeah, or no, or something like that.
Chibi. Shit like that. Like, you're so small. Chibi.
Yes.
It's fucking.
But yeah. Anyway, now they're all running together. All of a sudden, who pops up, beefing?
Fucking Sana senpai.
Yeah. Like this is why I said she's a fucking exhibitionist.
She's running in a fucking bunny suit.
Yeah, it's a very suggestive bunny outfit you see on adults, but this high schooler has it.
Just running around town with it.
Yep, and apparently now it's a competition. Apparently,
yes, we must beat the big titty fucking woman. Big titty senpai.
Beat the fucking hussy.
Beat the hussy.
Yes, beat the hussy. But running, Nagatoro and Senpai got a head start.
Yes.
I forgot why they didn't catch up.
Because as they were running. So basically they did the whole thing. They were like, oh, we're going to slipstream. And they all push hands trying to push Senpai going. And then they get broken up by a stop sign. And they're like, Nagatoro, Senpai, go on ahead.
Oh, that's right.
Ahead.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So they continue to go ahead. And then Senpai's ankle gives out.
It starts to finally give out, and Nagatoro sees it. It's like, what happens? Like, and he's like talking about his ankle. He's like, why didn't you say anything earlier? All right, fine. Fuck the race. I'm just gonna carry you.
Yep. That was
really cute. So they started walking together, and they eventually see her. They eventually caught up to her, and coincidentally, the other 3 girls come back.
Of course.
So basically, they're all like they're all like lifting them up above their shoulders, like evolution style.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Troy to go give the thumbs down.
That would have been
funny. All 4 of them like, oh, it's too windy though. The current's too strong, so one of them runs ahead of them to block the wind. It makes it easier for all of them to go.
No, that's why I said the jet stream. It's not blocking the wind. It's basically you. It's basically they did it like NASCAR. So like the whole theory of NASCAR is like when you're drafting. So they did draft where they're all drafting behind Senpai, pushing him. And then they did the slipstream where one person goes ahead and the other people get pulled on faster because the other person's ahead. So it was kind of like a NASCAR theme on that, which is unique.
Yeah. But yeah, they eventually caught up to her like, yay, we did it. And then the teacher's like,
disqualified because you carried him.
Yeah, he's like, that's fair.
Yep.
So, of course, the exhibitionist won.
Yep.
It's like, God damn.
She's fast.
I guess the bunny outfit was for more aerodynamic.
Yes, the bunny suit was for the dynamics. All the wind pushing through the fucking through the pantyhose.
The net stockings.
The fishnets, yes.
Fishnets, yes. Oh my fucking god. We had basically the last 2 episodes, they were back to back. It was like the same theme.
Kind of.
I mean, well, first it was Nagatoro being sick.
Yes. Well, no. First, you skip that part. When fucking Senpai went to give him the phone, you skip that story. So basically, Nagatoro goes to the club room and she's like, "Oh, the girls want to hang out. We're gonna have girl time. So bye."
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Bye. And she leaves her phone. So Senpai, for the first time, goes down because he's a second year. He goes to the first year floor and is looking for Nagatoro. Can't find Nagatoro. Then freaks out when he sees the other girls and is like, "Fuck, I gotta hide." He hides in a locker like a complete creep. Super creep. I told you.
Yeah, very creepy.
When fucking Nagatoro called him creep senpai, that episode made total fucking sense. Total creep. So he hides in the episode. They're having girl talk and they're talking about guys they like and the types they like. And they're like, "Oh, Nagatoro, like Haiichi, what do you what kind of guy are you into?" And it takes her a while and she's like, "Well, I like guys that I can hang out with." Right? And of course, this freaks out Senpai. Senpai accidentally hits the locker. And they're like, "What the fuck? Is that a ghost?" So fucking Nagatoro goes over to the locker, opens the locker, sees Senpai, and is like, "What the fuck are you doing in the locker, you fucking?"
And then they like hold up the phones, like
he holds up the phone. He's like, "Oh, you came to give me the phone? Okay."
But they like, "What's there?" Like,
Yeah, she's like, "I distract the girls so that way you can get out." So she goes out with Senpai and was like, "Oh, like you're a creep, da 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 da, whatever." She's like, "But thank you, you know."
But it's like, you didn't hear anything, right?
And he's like, "Nobody!" But he's fucking skedaddles and fucking Nagatoro's embarrassed chasing after him.
Yep,
that was funny. But then yes, we go on to the episode where basically he starts to worry after that whole incident happens.
He hasn't seen her. He's like looking around and he has to talk to the 3 girls.
He talks to one of them in particular. He talks to the stupid one, Yoshi, and then Gamo, which is the cunning one with the bigger with the biggest tits of the bunch.
Yeah, the one that's actually really nice to him.
Yeah, the one that's fairly like, "Oh, Paisen, Tosta." Yep. She's like, "Oh, it's the first time you've ever told me hi. That's weird." And she's like, "Oh, you worried about Nagatoro?" No.
Yeah, so they tease her for that a bit, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, I've got to tell you, she's sick."
Yeah, she's sick. She'll be back tomorrow. She's like, "Do you know where she lives?" And he goes, "Yeah, I know where she lives." She's like, "Cool, here's her homework. Thank you. Bye."
Yep. So basically, he gets his school's over. He starts going to the house.
Rings the doorbell.
Nothing.
Nobody answers.
So he goes to look for the window.
He starts thinking like, "Oh, did Nagatoro die? I gotta check on her." And then who comes over to the door or in the gate, Matt?
Misaki, the Nagatoro sister. She's like, "Hold up the phone."
Anetoro.
Yep. And he's like holding up. Is like
snap. Go up. I'm gonna tell the police you're a creeper.
Yep.
No, homework.
It's like, oh, so you're a senpai, right? Like,
you're a senpai-kun, huh? Oh, so I've heard so much about you. Come on in.
Yeah, so basically, she's talking to senpai. She's like, "Oh yeah, she's kind of feeling better. She just want to take the extra day off just in case."
Yeah.
So you want to know about my sister? So he sees a picture.
Judo contest, like, and she's like, "Oh, like little girl, senpai or little girl Nagatoro, like all smiling."
As soon as she was about to talk, you see Nagatoro. Like she walks in, rubbing the eyes,
bedhead and everything.
Yep, and then she sees senpai and just starts freaking out. I was like, "Why did you get here? Who said you could?
Why are you here?"
Yeah, I look like a mess. Like, hold on.
She straightens her hair, puts on some real clothes.
Yeah, and then starts getting mad at sisters. Like, get out, leave.
And then you're like, "Oh, but don't you want to eat this pudding?" And we find out Nagatoro's a pudding freak. She's like, "Oh, this is the special pudding," and which is funny, giggity.
Yeah.
But then she puts it with fruits and ice cream, and like, it's like, "Oh, pudding special." And they're like, "Oh, here's one for you too, senpai-kun." And they're like, and Nagatoro's like, "We're eating in my room. Come on." She's like, "All right." So they awkwardly eat together, and then we see that they're talking some more, and then Nagatoro wants to bully him, so she goes up. She takes her spoon that she just ate, and keep in mind she's got a cold. She takes the spoon, feeds senpai, and as senpai is gonna eat, Anatoro busts in with juicy.
Yeah, so juicy. Juicy.
And then they're like all embarrassed because they're like basically sharing foods and stuff. And of course, Nagatoro freaks out again. And then Nagatoro eventually calms
kicks her out
down
again
and was like, "Hey, while you're here, want to play video games? I've been getting
Yeah,
better.
like,
I'm gonna beat
yeah.
your ass."
So basically, it then it turned into like a little bet. It's like, if you win, senpai.
No, you're forgetting because Nagatoro got better at the game. She got better at the game and also distracted senpai. She distracted senpai in the first game, legitimately beat him in the second game. And she's like, "Well, let's play one more. We'll make a bet. If you beat me, I'll tell you one of my secrets. If I beat you," I don't remember what the fuck she was gonna do.
No, there wasn't anything if she won.
Yeah, so she's like, "Don't you want to know one of my secrets?"
And then the one he picked.
So he wins, and then he's like, "Oh," and Nagatoro, of course, like, "Oh, do you want to know what my boob size is? Like, do you want to see anything? Like, what is?" She's like, he's like,
"Yeah, because he technically won on a time limit." Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then we get a flashback from the episode, from like the previous episode, where they're like, when he was trying to find Nagatoro, and they're like, "What's her name? And what's her first name?" He's like, and so he thinks about that, and he's like, "I just want to know what your first name is." And then she goes, "Huh?" But she's like, "Well, if you really want to know," and he's like, "Wait." He's like, "No." He's like, "Your name is special, and I want to ask you out properly what your name is." And of course, Nagatoro takes that as like something like more serious, and she starts getting embarrassed.
Yeah, because first name is serious there.
Yes, of course. And so then freaking as she's about to say, like, "Oh, well, my first name is," and then you see Anatoro come in.
Comes back and it's like, "Oh, you dicks."
Yeah, you fucking ruined it. But then that was cute. But then next episode, as Matt was alluding to, the tables turned.
Senpai is sick though.
Senpai
He is a little cold.
So Senpai skipped school, and Nagatoro is looking all over for him. Can't find him. I'm like, "Where the fuck are you, Senpai?" And
yeah, he texts back,
and now
like, also, and Nagatoro doesn't know yet, but now the mother's out of town because she has a business meeting.
Just business meeting, so she's out for the day. And so basically, Nagatoro shows up. And basically, Senpai fell asleep. Senpai was relatively fine. He had a cough, and then he fell asleep. And of course, when you sleep, when you're getting sick, it gets worse when you wake up. So
they said sleeping on the sofa. He wasn't in bed.
He wasn't even in bed. He was sleeping on the sofa. He wakes up. He feels like shit. Nagatoro wakes him up by ringing the doorbell and then creepily fucking going into the backyard.
Yeah, looking for the window.
Senpai.
Pretty much. Starts like, hey, then he has a heart attack.
Yes.
And now, she eventually comes in with his homework.
Yep.
And you see her like feel a little bit like shit because like that she got him sick.
Right.
It's like, you got my cold, so I won't be sick. I'll be fine. It's not gonna go back and forth.
Yeah. So come on, we're going to the bed, and she's
like being very bossy with him.
Yeah, but then she genuinely takes care of him. Like she puts she takes his temperature. She's like, "Where's your thermometer?" He's like, "I don't remember where I put it." And so then he's like, "Oh," so she decides to like tease him a little bit. So she takes their foreheads and they touch foreheads, and she's like, "Wow, you're burning up." And a mix of it as him being embarrassed, but he does have a fever. So then he starts getting woozy and things like that. And so Nagatoro legitimately takes care of him, puts a cold compress on his head. And she's like, "Are you hungry?" And he's like, I have a little bit of an appetite. He's like, "Cool, I'll make you some food," right? So she goes downstairs, makes him some rice porridge, comes over, he eats it, everything is good. And again, he's still woozy, and he starts like hallucinating and thinking of
Nagatoro when they were married
as a wife. And he's like, "Arigato, Hayase." And she goes, "No problem." And she's like, and she pauses because she recognizes like he just called her her first name. And he goes, "Huh? Say that again?" Yeah. And he fell asleep. And she's like, "No, say it again." And he was asleep. And he's like, "Are you really asleep?" And she's like, "I guess you don't mind if I kiss you while you're asleep, right?" "Oh, I guess you really don't mind if I kiss you, right?" And she's leaning for the kiss. "Honey, I'm home."
Yep, it's like, shit.
His mother arrives home, and we don't see what happens. The next day, they're like, what's his face? Senpai wakes up, and his mother's like, "Oh, how do you feel?" And he's like, "Oh, I feel much better, thank you." And he goes, "So, who was that pretty girl that was at the house?" And he's like, "Pretty girl." And he realizes, oh shit, Nagatoro was here. And she's like, "Oh, you were sleeping. I didn't want to wake you up." And we see like an awkward exchange between Nagatoro and his mother. And it was,
and then what you call it now, like she was about to like kick him, like they're like touching foot starts touching hands, and then the friends come in like, oh, what's
Yeah,
this?
that was the thing. That was the theme early because in episode 3 they were holding hands.
They were holding hands.
In episode 4, fucking Senpai had her by the ankle, like leg up, probably could see under her skirt a little bit.
Everybody's like, oh, again, you saw it early. He's like, no, I was just
practicing judo moves.
Yeah, gonna kick in the face and all that
sure,
shit.
Kid. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this was fun.
This is much more fun, I think, than the second season so far.
First season, sorry.
Yeah.
Moving on. Spy Classroom.
Haven't seen.
You see yesterday's?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about that too. But yeah, we find.
Let me ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
So we can skip ahead basically to my point, and that's they kind of gave you the main payoff in episode 3
for that mission, and what happened
in this last episode that I have not seen. Is it another focal point on one of the girls?
You're talking about episode 4?
The episode 4 was, and then this episode 5 that dropped, right? It was episode 5 that dropped.
Yeah, it was a little bit about Lily showing a little bit of her leadership.
See, for me now, I almost, to be frank with you, I don't like that because they're going backwards, which is it's not a conventional way of doing the anime, which is fine, but I almost don't care anymore because you gave me the payoff. Like this should have been, to me, it should be the opposite. They should have built it up for the camaraderie and then lead up with the finale, right? And you gave me the finale in episode 3. Like I legitimately, I'm gonna watch this episode, but quite frankly, like I'm on the verge of dropping this for me because like you gave me the payoff. And now you're going backwards, telling me about the girls and why I should care about them after you gave me the payoff. That doesn't make.
To be fair, I think the ultimate payoff is them trying to beat Klaus. But but
they beat him and then they didn't beat him. They're not gonna beat him. That's the point.
I think
flash forwarded because at the end of episode 3, they disbanded. And they're like, okay, well, that's that. It is what it is. They all come back. They shackle him and have them at gunpoint. And then he unlocks the chains and he's like, oh, you guys still aren't ready for me. Right? And then that's the end. So if he says they're still not ready and that's the end of that piece, that means that they're not going to beat him through the remaining episodes. So if that's the case, why am I investing in this? You gave me the end result, and they still weren't enough. Great ending to it, but it still wasn't enough. That was a nice end. So instead of progressing with another mission or something along those lines, more advanced learning, no, you're going backwards in time to before the impossible mission. So for me to care about the girls,
that's
I already saw.
That's right. They're already ahead. It's not like it's a flash forward and we're going back to flashback. It
is flashback. So when this episode started, did not say like 14 days until impossible mission, 10 days until impossible mission, whatever the time frame was.
Well, it said they have another mission. They said for the last episode that the next mission is coming near, like it's around the corner. So it's like they have another mission.
I don't know, dude. Like, I'm just, like I said, I am on the verge of dropping Spy Classroom because I'm not invested anymore because you gave me what I wanted. So we'll see how this next mission turns out and see if that's, something that'll be decent or something that'll give me something more to look forward to. But I'm not looking forward to Spy Classroom after you gave me the payoff. That's it doesn't register with me. I don't feel invested anymore because you gave me what I wanted.
We'll see what happens. They probably just fucked it up somewhere. But basically, we got the mission, and of course, it's betrayal.
Of course,
you find out. Yeah, the person who was behind it was Klaus's master Guido.
Of course.
Yeah, so he was the one that basically he killed the teammates of this Team Inferno. They're all dead. They were all gone. And it was basically like, I guess, did they fully explain why, or was just he got bought off?
Who?
Guido, like why he betrayed the team.
You saw the writing on the wall, I guess, and yeah, he got bought off in a way.
Right. So basically, now it was all this to lure Klaus, and then the girls start trying to fight. All the girls get their ass kicked.
Yes.
Like they could barely touch him. The poison paralysis thing didn't last long.
Oh, that went down the wrong pipe.
Wrong pipe.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm drinking fucking Japanese whiskey. Went down the wrong pipe.
But of course, Klaus eventually joins the fray. We thought he saved the day. He got knocked out a bit. Didn't work, or did he? And then we get the introduction of the 8th girl, Erna.
Yes.
Who is
that was a surprise.
Yeah, who was basically the assassin. She was basically someone who just arrived a little later than everyone else, so they made their like a surprise. They'll remember the girls that first came in. So that happens. They beat Guido. Klaus and Guido have a moment. As Guido was about to talk, he gets shot.
Yes.
But
you glossed over the fact that they mentioned Senpai was always 1/10 of a second slower. And when they stabbed Senpai, they're like, or when they stabbed Guido, they're like, oh,
like it was like they sold him for that one.
Like, oh, you only slowed me down 1/10 of a second. And then the sensei comes over and he's like, that's all I needed. I'm now better than you because I'm that 1/10 you're 1/10 of a second slower, and I'm at my peak.
Right.
Which I thought was unique.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. After that, the mission was over. The girls were about to leave. Klaus says basically, go. Like the mission was done. Don't need you anymore.
Say hi.
And they all come, hello. And they all, of course, it was a play like, oh yeah, we were never gonna leave. Like we want to be a group together. We have much to learn from you. Now surrender. And of course, he doesn't surrender. Unlocks the chains, walks off, saying they all have a lot to learn. And then episode 4, it was basically a background on Erna, the assassin one, talking about how she was always bad luck. It always followed it. That's why she says it for herself. That's why she doesn't have any friends or anything like that.
Isn't he so cute? Look at him.
Yes. So basically, they want to use her bad luck to catch Klaus. So that was a little plan, but every single time, like curry dropping or bricks falling from the roof,
right.
All this Klaus just like he just keeps dodging his ultra instinct shit.
I have a random non-anime related question. Why do cats like cry black?
My
cat cries like a lot, and I'm always wiping his like eyes. It was worse when the other cat was here for some reason. Okay, down you go.
Be gone, dude.
There you go. All right, I petted you. I gave you love. I'll be gone. Anyway, yeah. So, this last episode, and you said it was another flashback or no?
I don't think they were flashbacks.
That's a flashback. When you put in perspective that they did this flashback so they can give you more background on this mysterious girl that we didn't see for the first 2 episodes. Okay, but I don't know. I'm not sold on it, dude. Honestly, like, I'm just we'll see. I may just drop this one for the sake of fucking needing fucking time, but we'll see.
I'll still keep it. It's still there. There's still something.
That's fine. So then, hey, it's a trade-off because you picked up high card. I'm dropping thing, so it worked out, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
No, I was kidding.
But basically, was Ernia's pain like with Klaus just basically telling her that it's really not
right,
and that people actually give a shit about her.
Right,
they're happy. Move on.
All
right. Let's go. Ice Guy.
How many more do we have?
A lot.
I know.
We have Ice Guy, Inspector, Buddy, Trigon.
Let's go Inspector.
All right,
I want to save Ice Guy. I want to save Ice Guy. We'll do Ice Guy next, and then we can do Buddy Daddies after that.
We also got Eminence.
Oh, fuck that! Do Eminence now. We should have started with fucking Eminence. I didn't see it.
I forgot. I want to forget about it, but we're almost done. I got 2 more.
I didn't see this week's episode.
Oh, I won't get to it then. It was basically, we'll make this one quick then. Basically, previous episode was another thing with Mundane, another tournament.
Yep.
And which girl did they focus on? It was a little harem of elves or whatever. Was it Alpha again, or was it someone else?
No, we find out the sister of Alpha.
Right.
We see the sister of Alpha who's looking for Alpha after Mundane's match against Goldie, where he beats the shit out of Goldie.
Oh, right. That was her. What was
Yeah.
her name?
You figure that out. In the interim, they focus on, is it Epsilon?
I don't know. I don't remember because that one's
It's so hard because they're using the Greek alphabet, so it's a bit
right.
It's a bit harder.
Beatrix
is her name. Alpha's
sister. Aunt.
Aunt? That's her aunt?
Yeah, Beatrix is the aunt of Alpha.
Oh, we did forget about Revengers.
I'll get to them.
We'll get to it next.
Yeah. We got like 8 or 9.
Good God, and we're almost 2 hours in.
Yeah, so that's why I said I want to try and make these quick.
Oh, good God.
And I don't. I mostly focus on the current episode of Evidence, which was pretty good.
Well, I haven't seen the current episode. So.
I know, and so I don't remember last week that much.
Oh my God! All right, so I'll take over since I remember last week's.
So you're gonna take over mostly because you're an episode behind
on several of these.
Yeah. Ahead, yeah.
All right, so so as we mentioned, Alpha's sister is looking for her. The episode focuses on one of the other girls. And basically, the show it focuses on the first half on Mundane and like, what is he doing? Like, oh, he's sneezing, he's cracking his neck. And the one girl who he's gonna face in this episode, which you said is pretty good. What's her name?
Yeah. Which one?
The one he faced this week that I haven't seen.
Oh, the knight?
Yeah.
Anne Rose.
Anne Rose. So Anne Rose is trying to figure it out with the other guy, and he ends up the other guy, the big bulky guy that beat the shit out of him. Of course, Mundane beats him in the finals, 1, 2, 3, like that, nothing. And so there's that. And in the episode, basically focuses on what's her name? The princess.
The Alexia's sister?
Not Alexia's sister. The other girl, the blonde girl that was infatuated with him at first.
Was her name Rose?
Click on it. No, it's not Anne Rose. Let me click on the fucking thing. I'll click on it.
No, not Anne Rose. Like this regular Rose, Oriana.
Yeah. Rose. Okay, so Rose. So it focuses on Rose and her plight on what happened. We find out basically that the what's the name of the group?
Shadow Garden or
no, the other one. The
their little alliance.
The cult. No, the cult.
Oh, that the one that's like trying to mimic them, right?
Yeah.
Dante something?
Not Dante's Inferno.
Diablo.
The cult of Diablo. Yeah, the cult of Diablo. So we find out basically the cult of Diablo has taken Rose's father and like manipulated him. And so they basically set her up for treason and murder. And so Rose has been on the run. Rose has been on the run. And she's also been afflicted by some sort of curse. And she's slowly dying, very slowly dying. And as she's on the brink of death, we see Shadow. Oh, the folks, I think it's Epsilon that is the piano player. And so...
yeah, that's right. Because
so basically they hear Epsilon playing Moonlight Sonata. And they're like, oh, who knows Moonlight Sonata? Of course, it's Epsilon. And so he's like, oh, you play good, like your tits look great, blah, 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 whatever. As he's walking out of where he was talking to her, he sees a grand piano and he's like, and we learn his backstory basically about how he didn't want to learn piano as a kid, but when he was a human, like back in like on Earth, he didn't want to learn it. But over the time, like he found the piano is really comforting, and it's a great instrument for evil fucking shadow, right? So he steals the fucking thing out of nowhere, uses his whatever power to steal it.
His shadowy like powers.
Yeah. So he brings it to like this random base, I guess, underground, where Rose was hiding, and plays his own version of Moonlight Sonata. Very glorious, very nice. And you see Rose come up and was like, so your shadow, They have a conversation. She's like, I want power. I want to defeat the cult. And Shadow's like, very well, I'll give you power. And, so he basically cures her of that sickness that basically it seems like a similar sickness to what the other girls had dealt with that he cured. So he cures a sickness and he's like, I've given you power, and use it well, blah blah blah. It gives her like some sort of trope that was really like, it made sense, but I don't recall what it was. But basically, the members of the cult come around, they attack her. She basically one-shots them all, just slices them all to fucking smithereens.
Right.
Glorious, fucking absolutely glorious. And she's more powerful. Eventually, Alexia's sister and Beta, I think it's Beta.
The one with the glasses?
Yeah. Beta show up, and Alexia and not Alexia. What's her name?
All right, you're not going to talk about Takemichi? Yeah, we will. We'll get to him.
I said that. I said we'll get to him next one. So anyway, Alexia basically ends up fighting Rose and gets defeated, but she's just knocked unconscious. And she's like, "Listen, there's stuff I have to do. Like, don't mind me, and I'll see you again soon." She walks off, gives Alexia to Beta, and Beta recognizes immediately what happened. They're like, "Shadow, is this the path you want to take? Well, we'll follow you anyway if that is the case." And that's kind of where that episode kind of mostly ends from that standpoint.
Yeah, and I can't talk about the next one because you did not see it yet.
Yeah, and it's a fight between Rose and Mundane, or not Rose, between Anna.
Yeah, and it gets set up for, I guess, the season's final big fight after.
Well, it's episode 18, so there's 19 and then 20, so it's the penultimate.
But it's a fate that Iris is gonna fight next. So that's gonna be the last big fight.
Him, fucking Mundane versus Iris.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And is he gonna reveal himself as Shadow once he defeats her? Ooh.
I don't know.
See, there's intrigue here.
It's there. It's just it takes a bit. And again, Starman ruined Sid for me.
Kind of, right?
Yeah, just like, who gives a shit about it? Like he's like nothing. It's like he's just there. Like, what is he? What is he even good for? Like,
it isn't. Yes, it isn't worth the damn. But it's all about Shadow. When Shadow comes out,
Yeah, but even
it is there kind of, I think, for like comedic relief in a way.
Yeah, Sid and Iris, we'll get to them when you talk about it. But let's move on now.
Yeah,
let's get to Tokyo.
Yeah, I didn't see.
You didn't see last week's.
Yeah, sorry, last week.
So we're only talking about
3 and 4.
Well, 4 was the current.
Oh, it should be 5. 5 is the current. It's going to 6 now.
No, it's episode 4, January 28th.
Oh, okay. So I saw 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think we covered. Did we cover the second one? I think we covered the second one.
Did we?
I'm not sure.
No, I don't think.
No, because that's right. Because it was about the
Black Dragon.
Right.
Black Dragon, yeah.
Yeah, it was about the guy who was Hakai.
Yeah.
Or Shiba. Yeah.
Shiba. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Shiba.
Yeah, but basically they're at the bowling alley, Takemichi and Shiba.
Yeah, which, by the way, hold on, pause that. I don't like the new Ken. I don't like him. His voice is not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's a letdown. I heard his voice for the first time. I was like, no. Where they did fucking, what's his dick? Demon King Academy. Well,
yeah.
They didn't do him well at all.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
It's not the same. That hurt. That hurt a little bit.
Yeah, but anyway, Crybaby Takemichi. Yes, Chris, we're talking about him now. Takemichi and Shiba, they're bowling. Strikes. It's been even for a while, but eventually Takemichi fucks up.
Yes, he hit a 9er. Didn't get the thing. Didn't get the strike.
Yep. So Hakai got the perfect game.
Yep.
And then Takemichi was actually questioned already. He's like, is he really the bad guy here? Like, he's like so nice type of thing.
He's so chill.
Yeah, Hakai and his sister Yuzuha.
Yeah.
I guess he thought they were.
I thought that was his poor girlfriend. I didn't realize that was his actual sister.
Yeah, it was his girlfriend.
And he's like, "Don't you have energy to do other things?" And I'm thinking, "Oh, she wants dick." Okay.
No. So basically, Hakai invites Takemichi and Hina to their place. And who was there at the house, Stephen?
The fucking leader of the Black Dragons.
Well, everyone was there first.
Yes, the entire squad.
Yeah, they're waiting for Taiju.
because Taiju went to go grocery shopping. He went to he went to Konbini.
Yeah, so Hakai was telling Takemichi to leave because Black Dragons hate Tomon.
Yep.
And they find out and they see like, oh, so this is a Tomon type of thing. And then Hakai was like, your friend, like, don't hurt him type of thing. Don't even hit him.
Yep.
I'm still the younger brother of the leader of the Black Dragons.
Yep. That's my sister. Can't fucking fuck with him. Because the fucking sister kicked the shit out of one of the guys. Like, I'm going to kill you. I don't care if you're a woman. They're like, well, that's the leader's sister. So good luck with that, buddy.
Yeah, so they kind of care unless Taiju gives the order.
Which he kind of does.
Yeah, but he gets there. We see Taiju. Knocks out the brother.
Yep.
And then he beats the shit out of Takemichi.
Yeah, beats him full pulp.
Yeah, and this leads to last week's episode. He's like basically to the point of near death, and Hina, of all people, stands up to him.
Yep.
And like, no, you know, I gotta do that. No, go away, type of thing. And as I feel like he was about, she was about to get stricken down.
Yep.
Backhanded even.
Yep.
And then he's like, "What if I left Tomon?"
Yeah. He's like, I'll trade you. Stop beating up Takemichi. I'll leave Tomon and join your group.
Yeah, and he was like one of the and he's a vice captain in Tomon too. One of the
he's lieutenant. He's lieutenant captain.
Right, and this is Kisaki's guy too.
No, he's not Kisaki's guy. He's Mitsuya.
Okay, sorry.
He's Mitsuya's
guy. I say, but Kisaki's like someone that he keeps close type of thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because in the future, you find out Hakai's the one that kills the leader of Black Dragon, takes over Black Dragon to marry Toma in the future.
And we find out the leader of the Black Dragon, he's the 11th, and the 10th was his brother, so he kills his brother.
Yes, and merges with Kisaki to combine the groups.
Yeah.
So that's why Takemichi's trying to figure out like why, and he's like trying like why would he kill his own brother? Because again, he's a sweetheart type of thing.
Because of this moment.
Yeah. And Hakai joins Black Dragon, Takemichi, they're saved. And now we get to a meeting with the Tomons. Meeting.
Before the meeting, you're forgetting Takemichi wakes up after being unconscious and he sees all of his friends there. They all join Tomon. He's like, "What? You guys all join Tomon?" He's like, "Yeah, you demanded we join."
Yeah. We're part of your division.
We're part of your division now. And he sees not Mitsuya, the other guy. Or am I thinking of them incorrectly?
Which Sendo Suzuki?
The white hair one is his friend. That's Mitsuya. Who's the other guy? There's another white hair guy.
Yamamoto?
What's their first names?
Takuya?
Takuya is Shiba's captain. So Mitsuya is the vice captain of Takemichi's group of Squad 1. So he ends up he's like, hey, they talk about like how bad the fight is gonna be, blah 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 blah. And then at the end, when he's like, oh, we're gonna crush them, and he's like, I'm gonna do it alone. He tells the group, like, no, I'm gonna do this alone because this is my battle. And Mitsuya's like, let's take a ride, kid. So they go on his motorcycle, they go to like some abandoned spot, and something just comes over Takemichi, and he just reveals everything. He tells him the entire story.
Yeah, he's like, I'm from the future and all this.
Yeah, and he's like, so at the end, he's like, so Kisaki's gonna kill me? And he goes, yeah.
He's like, God damn it, that sucks.
He's like, you get shot in the head, bro. And he's like, fuck. And he's like, well, I knew that I would die that way. He's like, what? He's like,
no, he's just mad that you got killed by Kisaki.
Yeah, he's just mad he gets killed by Kisaki. He's like, no. He's like, so you believe me? And he's like, yeah, this shit's too insane for it to be fake. And he's like, no, you trusted me. I appreciate that you told me, and we're gonna work on this together. We're gonna change the future together. And he's like, listen, he's like, I have so much more respect for you now because throughout this time,
and
you've been doing everything alone. And I always knew there was something weird about you, but now I know why.
And of course, Takemichi fucking cries.
Of course, he's a crybaby. He fucking balls crying.
Like, dude, just fucking stop it.
He balls crying. And so they come up with a plan. They end up going to the meeting where all the heads and the vice heads are there, where they're going to weigh on Shiba's departure. And Takemichi, tries to pull some shit, but doesn't work. And he's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. So just the shit's going to go awry. Shiba asks his captain, like, hey, I'm out. And the captain's like, I understand why you're saying what you're doing. I understand. And he's like, it was a pleasure working for you. And he's like, huh? He's like, I'm not letting you fucking go. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then Q end of episode.
Right.
How was
Like I
last
said, I'll be nice for now.
last week? Was good.
Yeah, that's just pretty solid.
Okay, cool. I'll have 2 episodes to watch on there. Watch it.
All right, moving on now. Inspector. We had Yuki and
I haven't. This is another one I haven't seen the last episode. This one I haven't seen, and then Demon King Academy I haven't seen.
But I say with Masayuki and Yuki,
I love this story.
They had one episode and they were already like in the top chart for some.
This is great. This is great.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
This is a really good story. I can't wait to see last week's episode.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, basically I know we talked about the first 2 episodes. We just got to talk about last week's.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you call it? Masayuki's wife is dead, and he's that you find out that he's being framed for it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he's talking to Detective Honda, I believe his name is.
Yes.
Yeah, Honda and Furukawa. They start questioning everything, and this is good because this ties into our other main characters. So we're getting both.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting Iwanaga, Sakuragawa, Yuki, and Masayuki.
Yep.
So this is great. All right, you gotta take over because again, I'm only thinking of last week's.
Ideal. Okay. Well, basically,
we'll be caught up together.
Hopefully next week. Yeah. So Yuki Onna basically asks for I forget her name. I always forget her name.
Which one?
The main girl.
Iwanaga.
Basically asks Iwanaga's help. Iwanaga goes up to the mountain. She's pissed off because fucking Kudo didn't want to go with her. Decided to go to work instead. And she's all pissed off. She's like, I just want my boyfriend here. And he doesn't want to go with me. Blah, 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 whatever. So then Iwanaga comes up with this insane fucking story that basically pins everything on Masayuki. Right? Just pins everything on him. And Masayuki gets nervous. And I'm thinking like, oh shit, is this like, did he really fucking do it? And he's like, and then what's crazy is Yuki Onna was just like, hey, you know, like he would never do that. Like she like bows before her and says, no, stop. This is inaccurate what you're saying. He would never do that. Blah, 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 blah. And Iwanaga's like, yeah, I know that. And they go, huh? Like, yeah, like, you know, for a human to have this much influence on a demon, basically, or a ghost, to have this much influence, like she's defying someone she reveres as her god for you. So you have to be a good spirit. You have to be a kind person for her to go that drastically to save you. And she's like, oh, well, you know, don't worry about it. I already know who the killer was. And they're like, huh? And yeah. And you said this week's episode was also
good. They go the full detail about it. Like I actually like this so far. I like this a little bit better than season 1 already.
Yes, I agree. This is a very detailed story. There's a lot of background, which is why I think this story matters more and is better. They go into a lot of detailed background. They give you a reason to care about the fucking characters that are suffering whatever the fuck. And it's dope. I love it. I can't wait to see last week's episode as well.
Alrighty, let's move on. We got 7 more.
Demon King Academy next.
All right, so Demon King.
Another one.
This was well, aside from that episode the week before that, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was more of class shit.
Okay. So,
but no, so I'm saying the last week's is good. I'm talking about the one we're talking about now. That's one that's it's okay.
Okay.
What was the name of the class?
What
was the name of that school they went to with the tree?
Spirit School.
Oh yes, right. They went to Spirit School, and of course the Anos' group is all there.
Yeah.
And the other group is Dello.
Yes.
That deformed face looking thing. And there's a couple of other people, I think Ijes.
Yes.
And one other general.
Yes. I'm gonna get more while you talk.
Okay. Oh yeah, and then the I was gonna forget that tree's name. We'll say the spirit tree.
Spirit tree.
Or great tree, sorry. The great tree, he's talking about how there's free trials if you want to see the Spirit King. So to do this, you gotta do these free tasks, and then there's a test. And then Ano says, "That's stupid. Let's just do one." So we got the one test, and then Delo is talking to him. It's like, "Oh well, I bet you that all your girls will fail." And then Ano says he promises that everyone will get above. Was it 80 or 90? The test score that Ano said for the bet. Did they have to score 80 or 90? As he gets more alcohol. But yeah, I kind of can't continue until I get that information from him. But again, outside of that, but yeah, the score test. If Anos and everyone else scores that certain average, he gets to meet the spirit. I forgot, what did he win? Stop getting alcohol. Help me.
Hold on.
Dios mío.
I'm sorry. I have so many different Japanese anime Japanese whiskeys, and I didn't know which one to choose. So I was like, you know what? Let's open up a brand new one.
Yeah, I was in the middle of talking about Anos and Delo's bet. What did the students have to score for Anos to win the bet? Did they score 80 or 90?
They were supposed to score 80, and Anos is like, let's change it to 90. Oh no, he said so they were supposed to score 80, he said, and Anos is like, oh, let's only take one test instead of multiples. And the spirit is like, okay, fine, no problem.
Yeah,
but we're gonna raise it up to a 90 now. You need a 90. And the bad guys are like, there's no way they're gonna get that. And they're like, no, I'm confident everybody's gonna pass.
Yeah, but no, because of this, the Anos' group were like a little nervous because they have to basically learn this in like the next day, basically. Yeah. And of course, Anos has he lifts up every book with his magic, turns a couple of pages, go, we're done. I got it. You're all gonna pass.
Hayama. This is brand new. I have never tasted this before. I have no idea how this tastes.
Right, but
praying to God this doesn't fuck me up.
But yeah, oh god, fucking Anos is OP in a ridiculous manner with how he just moved. With how you just move the sun with like a couple of fingertips, or again just picking up every book, read a couple pages, and he knows everything.
Yep.
Even noticed the missing page, but yeah, he was able to compile it all very easily for everyone else to get.
Yep.
Basically, know everything for the next day.
Yep.
So
I wish we could study like that in real life.
Right? Yeah, that
would be so clutch.
Right, but let's move on now. Though it's test day. They're all doing the test. Basically, no cheating, no nothing, no assisting.
Yes.
Focus on your test. And then there's a certain question in there, but they didn't know it because the page of the book was missing, or so you think. Anos was 2 steps of his outsmarting.
This is gonna be bad. Come by, Matt.
Come by. So yeah, basically, Anos talked to the great tree before the test.
This is gonna be an acquired flavor.
Yeah. Okay. And then he's again outsmarted Delo's plan, and it got to the point where everyone got a perfect score.
Yep.
And they all passed. So now the next part is gonna be a task for them to beat the Spirit King. That's where that episode ends.
Yep.
And then we'll figure it out. Because that's the thing. When the light novel, the reveal happened, but that was the first thing, not the thing with Lei.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like a completely backwards, half-ass, out-of-order thing.
Right.
According to the people that read it. So
right.
I am curious about how they are going to do it for that. But we'll find out. Let's keep going. Now we'll do Ice Guy.
All right, now we can do Ice
Guy. This is really good.
I love Ice Guy. And I was thinking to myself, and I wanted to bring this up on the podcast, because, as much as we talk about rom-coms and they're all like fan servicey and things of that nature.
Or school themed, yeah.
Or school themed. Like, no, this, and I have yet to see it. It's on my to watch list. I definitely want to see it. Walter Kai, Love is Hard for an Otaku. I have yet to see it. It's on
Amazon, I think.
It's on Amazon Prime, and I have yet to see it, and I want to watch it. But this,
I know Chris did, and he loved it.
Yeah, this definitely has that vibe. It's adults, like they're literal adults, and it's office love, and it's something that's relatable to many people. I would say more so. I mean, to be honest, when we get into Angel Next Door, I find I'm more relatable to that, and I'll go into more depth on that. But in terms of just the principle of this, and there's zero fan service, nothing sexual whatsoever. It's just really fucking adorable. Truly adorable. I love this show. It's one of my favorites.
This one you're all caught up with, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we only got to talk about episodes 4 and 5 then.
We didn't talk about 3, I don't think.
No, we talked about the
when he melts and he's a kid.
Yeah.
And we talked about the fireworks. I don't recall that.
Okay.
That's why we've been skipping some of these, and I was like, I just don't recall us talking about it. We only talked about episodes 1 and maybe 2.
Oh, okay. We talked about 1 and 2.
Yeah, so this one we gotta talk about 3 episodes. We don't have to necessarily.
But was that we'll be quick. It was basically we're going to talk about the main thing of episode 3, which was it's hot as hell at this employee resort escape thing.
They went to Okinawa at the end of episode 2. They're like, "Oh, we're going on an employee trip to Okinawa," and Himuro freaks the fuck out. And later on, everyone's
because
like,
of the temperature, and then we find out why.
Yeah, when he melts, he turns into a little kid.
Yeah, like he doesn't like I'm melted. Like he gets younger. It's like an age reverse type thing.
Yeah, so he turns into a little kid.
So he needs to be kept cool.
Yes.
And Fuyusuki was able what did she give him?
Ice cream.
Yeah, the ice cream, like shaved ice type.
Yeah, icy or something like that, like an icy.
Yeah, and then basically while it's going on, he's resting all this. She takes a picture.
It's an adorable picture.
Yeah, he's like, I'm keeping this. I'm not gonna tell him. But basically, now with all that happened, they had the fireworks. They're all good. I'm glad you all had fun. Anyway, it's time to assign people to where they're actually going to be.
Yes.
So this might be the last time. Fuyusuki, Himuro,
no, you're skipping the dinner date.
That's after.
No, it's before and after.
That's it. No, that they had
the dinner date is before. So the dinner date is like, oh, I want to thank her for all that she's done for me. Let's go to dinner. She asked her to dinner.
I could have sworn that was definitely after.
No, it wasn't after. No,
because again, first episode, like when the episode came up, like they're checking the email and then that. I said I could have sworn.
No,
they got the assignments first, and then he's talking about how he wants to thank her, and then they do the date, and then they talk about how. Then they ask for Yusuke.
They go to dinner, and then they get the assignments. Then they go on a date, an official date, the movie date, and then you get the collection between the couples.
All right. I'll take your word for it for now.
Yeah, so basically, I'll take over since I just watched this literally yesterday. So, episode 4 mainly begins with, Hiromu wants to thank Fuyutsuki for all that she's done, and so he overhears a conversation between Fuyutsuki and Kiori is her name, Kaori,
the fox,
yeah. Komori, sorry. So he overhears a conversation with Komori and Fuyutsuki, like, oh, Komori asks, like, what are your favorite foods? And she's like, I like everything. I'm not picky. I've never been picky. Like, oh, that's cool. Because Komori only eats tofu because she's a fox, and apparently they like fried tofu. Whatever. So he's like, I want to thank her. I want to take her out for dinner. And he starts researching everything, blah, 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 whatever. And so he finally agrees, like, let's go to this dinner spot. Will you go out to dinner with me? And Fuyutsuki gets all like shy. And she's like, yeah. So they go out to dinner. Dinner goes well, but Fuyutsuki is, bland.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they're like awkward, like in terms of talking.
And then work calls about something. So she goes away. And then the waiter ends up talking to Himuro. And is like, hey, you're on a date? And he goes, yeah, it's a great day, da 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 da. And Fuyutsuki comes back as he's saying that, and he's like, you heard what I said? And she's like, yep. And he gets embarrassed, whatever. But it's really a cute episode regardless. They get really happy. And then from there, they go to work the next day, and they find out, like, hey, time to give you guys your real assignments. So Fuyutsuki is like, oh, I hope I'm with him. But Hiromu was like, no, like I need to be with her. Like I can't. I want to be with her. Da 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 da. And
of course, all 4 of them
Yeah, all 4 of them end up being in the same fucking group, which is nice. So as what's her face? Saejima and Himuru, sorry, are talking. They're having conversation like, hey, what are you doing for lunch? Da 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 da. He's just thinking about the date, and they come across Komori and Fuyutsuki talking, and Komori is like, hey, so do you like Himuru? Like, what's going on with that? And she goes, I can't say that we're close, but
because she doesn't know him.
I don't know him. Like, I'd like to know him more. I don't even have his phone number. But I can say that I would like to get to know him more. And Humoru like overhears this and he gets embarrassed. And then Sajima's like, you guys haven't even exchanged phone numbers yet. So out of the blue, he asked for their number, and it's funny because she has her contact info as her cat, Nyamaru. And that was funny. She's like, I feel like I'm talking to Yamaru. He's like, I could change it if you want. She's like, no. Like, she's like that. And he's like, no, it's perfect. It's no problem. Whatever. They start messaging little things back and forth. He sends her a pic. She sends him a picture of her and the cat. And he's like, oh, it's so adorable. I'm gonna save it forever. And that was cute.
And the phone froze solid.
And the phone froze solid, which was funny. Which by the way, also when he was hoping like, oh, I need to be in her group, like he looked at Cat Whiskers and he's like, Cat Whisker sama, please. Let me be with Fuyutsuki. And he thanks the Cat Whiskers afterwards for being in the same group. But anyway, that leads to the following day. And the following day, she starts asking, like, he's like, well, what do you like? And she's like, oh, well, I like George the Cat. And we find out George the Cat is like a children's like Japanese series, and it's about a cute little animal, like a cute little cat.
Before that though, we also got the new coworker.
Yes, the introduction to our new coworker, Katori-kun.
And he's a phoenix.
He's the descendant of the phoenix. He's a childhood friend of Hirumu, and he is in love with his senpai, which we'll get to later on. But he's a very eccentric character. He used to be an artist, and when he wasn't making it big, he ended up following senpai to her job, and we'll get into that momentarily.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Hirumu is like, what do you like? Whatever, like George the Cat, whatever. And she's like, hey. She finds this out because of the fact that he accidentally bumps into Fuyutsuki while she's walking. She drops all her papers. He helps pick them up, and he notices the flyer for the movie, and she gets all embarrassed. And she's like, "Oh, George the Cat, isn't that like a children's thing?" She's like, "Yeah, I really liked it. I saw it by myself." And he's like, "Oh, whatever." And he's like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind seeing it." And she's like, "Do you want to come with me to the movies?" And he's like, "A date?" And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." So they start messaging about the date. Blah 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 blah. They end up going together, sitting in the corner, watching the movie. It's a very nice movie. Like, they laugh, she cries, he gives her a handkerchief so she can cry on it. It's really adorable. And at the same time as they're going into the movie theater, you see Saejima going to see a movie about rice. And who does he see in the movie, Matt? Next to him? Katori.
Yeah, Katori.
Katori sits next to him, and he's like, "Oh, why did you want to see this movie?" He's like, "Oh, I've been wanting to see this movie for a while." He's like, "Well, why did you have to sit next to me?" She's like, "Oh, this is the only seat available." Oh, okay. So it's an awkward thing. He's like, "Why do I got to spend my day off with a coworker I don't even know?" Meanwhile, Fuyutsuki and Himaru are having a good like date basically together.
Yeah.
And so we find out later the movie is about the whole like genesis of rice from the time that it's made from a plant until the time it blooms into that actual thing. The 3.5 hours of the genesis of rice. What the fuck?
I don't think it's fit for that.
I don't think I said maybe like an hour fucking documentary, but that's about it. And I would have to really like rice. And I eat rice fucking 5 times a week, and I would never probably do that. But we digress. Anyway, so they're continuing to get to know each other, and the next sequence they have is with Katori, and Katori. They end up going to a cafe after the thing, and that's
and they were like, "Oh yeah, we saw Fuyutsuki Hiromu."
No, the cafe. After the date,
okay.
Hiromu and Himuru rather, and Fuyutsuki go to a cafe, and they have more conversation. I think, if I recall correctly.
It was also basically Komori, Katori, Saejima. They're all trying to figure out what movie they saw.
This is strong. Oh, no wonder. Oh, good Jesus. This is 48% alcohol.
Yeah, I was saying because those three were trying to figure out what they saw when they were talking to each other.
No, that's later on. This is 48% alcohol, dude.
Nice, and you're drinking it.
Oh my god, I had 40 before, so this is. And I was like, why is this so like have such a kick? Hayama malt whiskey, by the way, guys. This is my first time tasting it. Where's the description of this? Sanokawa Shuzuko Limited, product of Japan. I forget the flavors. I don't know the fucking flavors exactly, but doesn't even have a good thing. I'll have to look it up if you guys care about it. But anyway, excuse me. They go to a cafe. They have conversation. That's cool. Whatever. Moving on. We get Katori. And Katori basically talks about his senpai, and we learn the full story about Katori. That basically he was working at his friend's like shop as a part-timer, really didn't get no business, but there would always be one customer, and it was his senpai. What's her name? Otomori or something like that? Otomori. Yeah. So Otomori would always go there, work on her stuff while she's in the cafe, and she'd have to go on her rounds because they work in sales. He works in sales, she works in sales. They work in sales together. And they're like, I'm gonna go do my rounds, whatever. And he, ended up like really falling for her there. Like there was something about her that like attracted him. So he ended up following her the following month to the company. He ends up working in sales in the same department as her. She ends up being his senpai. But again, he's like head over heels for her, so much so that he's like basically confessing like, oh, I want to spend my life with you, I want to make you happy forever. And this embarrasses Otomi and Otomori, and basically drives her away. So basically Katori, and he's again a very exuberant personality, he continues to push her away with his eccentricity. And so basically he's trying to figure out like, what can I do to make her not hate me, and he starts going more in depth on like how their relationship is developed. Like, before he was the useless senpai that didn't get shit right. He's like, oh, this is all wrong, do it again, blah 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 blah. And then basically he there's a time when like they lose a contract and the company is losing money hand over fist, and Otomori is basically like, hey, I'm gonna fix this. It ends up being Katori that fixes it, and everyone's all proud of him. And he's like, no, it's, really my senpai. She taught me everything. Senpai wasn't there. So he leaves the meeting after the meeting's over, tries to find her, and sees senpai crying in a corner. And senpai wipes the tears, and they have like a moment between each other. And it's a very nice moment between them. But of course, he falls more in love. And Fuyutsuki is just like, hey, why don't you like rein it down? Like, why don't you keep it more simple? And of course, Katori gets down on one knee and proposes. And Fuyutsuki's embarrassed, and Hiromu's pissed off. Like, what are you doing to my girl, basically? Yep. And that was
like, oh shit! Like, he's actually mad.
Fucking, he looks like a Yuki Onna. Not Onna. What the fuck? What's man? Otoko. Yuki Otoko. That's a man in Japanese. Otoko is boy. Yuki Otoko, and that was funny. And he goes off to try and find senpai. That's cool. Whatever. And then the final piece of the episode is basically they start playing like kind of like a gacha thing, except with like prizes. So with George the cat, if you buy these like different breads in the package, you get like the sticker. And if you collect 28 stickers, that's worth 28 points, you can get a plate set of George the cat. And so Hiromu was like, oh, I really want that. Now he's so into George the cat. And so he starts collecting the stickers, but he miscalculates. And he's like, well, fuck, I'm not going to do it. Unbeknownst to him, Fuyutsuki's doing the same thing. And she notices it. And she's like, hey, I started late. I'm not going to be able to get all the points. But if we combine our points, we can get it. So they end up getting the plate. And he shares a plate with her, a plate set. And it's really cute. And they bond over that. Meanwhile, we finally get real development. And we get this development throughout with Saejima and Komori, and they start flirting little things at first. Like Komori eats her tofu, she gets all happy, so her ears pop out, her tail pops out, and Saejima comes in, he's like, hey, your tail's lifting up your skirt, and Komori is just joking around like, oh, you want to see my pantsuit? What a fucking pervert, right? That was funny.
It's like, no, I just like foxtail.
I just think it's really cute. Yeah, like the foxtail, like whatever. And she gets embarrassed. And then so as they're collecting, as Fuyutsuki and Himuro are collecting the points from the bonds, what's it called? Komori's really tired one day, so they give her like a little Fuyutsuki gives her like a little like energy bar, and you get a little prize from the energy bar. And Saejima comes up, says good morning everybody, sees the prize, and is like, oh, I remember that, I used to collect these as a kid. And she starts collecting them from a candy form, and you get like a cute little animal, and you get the set when you collect all the animals.
And she wants a fox.
She wants a fox, but there's no fox. But she, continues to buy them, continues to buy the candies. And there's somebody else that's buying these candies and giving her the pieces that she's missing. Eventually, she collects the final piece on her own. Saejima comes in and is like, "Oh, I guess you don't need this piece either." And she's like, "Oh my god, you're the candy fairy," basically called like the candy fairy, whatever.
Like, no.
And he's like, "No, I just wanted to help you out, whatever."
Like, no, he admitted it, but he's like, because of my love for you, like, huh, like, as a fox, yes.
Yeah, and she gets embarrassed
like,
but there's more blunt development between the two, which is really nice. It makes you almost as invested in them two as you are in Keki and Hiromu. So there's basically 3 sets of office couples that are all slowly blooming in their own ways to their feelings, and hopefully all 3 of them, everybody gets together. That would be really, really nice.
All right, let's move on. This will be a long one for us. Tomo.
Tomo's you like Tomo a little bit more than I like Tomo, but I love Tomo. So do you remember, or do I need to pick up?
You saw today. You saw yesterday, right?
I'm caught up on Tomo.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out
how many more do we have. Tomo.
We have Trigun, Angel, Eternity, and
Tomo
and Daddies.
Okay, we'll do Daddies next. I didn't see today's.
Well, I did, but yeah, I still remember it's just daycare.
Yeah.
But so that'll be easy, honestly.
Yeah. So let's talk about Daddies first, and then that'll
be
time to about.
But basically, first episode 3 is what you call it? Hold on, fucking ad. Click the wrong button. Kazuki and Rei. Kazuki.
Oh fuck.
Oh yeah, but Kazuki is basically trying to find Miri's mother.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on? Miri's like trying to like call on Kazuki. Miri gets confronted by a stranger in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, type of thing, like looking for a daddy, type of thing. And it's Kazuki. Because first Kazuki's like, don't call us daddy in public. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden she does it, and like, because again, it's a pervert type of thing. Like, why did you call it? Like, you told me not to. Like, and stuff like this. Yes, call for us. And then he's like looking at Ray. He's like, why didn't you step in? But before that, though, we had a flashback of Ray of when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out, he's like emotionless and all this because his dad was like that. He didn't treat him like a son. He treated him like an employee type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They even shot the dog in the head. They're the family dog in the head.
Yeah, savage.
Because Ray didn't do it.
Savage.
So he gets those. Little nightmares at the night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he's like doesn't smile or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what you call it, Miri considers Ray as a papa. You know, Ray's like, don't call me that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mother is found. So while Kazuki's doing that, Ray is going to watch over Miri.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he does a shitty job at that, but we'll get to that later because we're going to focus on the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Kazuki goes into this nightclub. That's where the mother is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like she's like a night singer. She's like singer at one of those clubs, like the Apollo Theater or something.
That shit hurt. This was hurtful.
Yeah. Like you just you hear her like song, like the pain of it, the pain in her voice of it.
Singer. She's a great singer for sure.
Oh yeah, lovely voice. And
shitty fucking personality.
Yeah, and again, like it's basically this bar is now like a rundown, beat up type of thing, and I guess her pimp, sugar daddy, agent, attacks Kazuki.
That's her boyfriend. That's her boyfriend. Boyfriend, but definitely some sort of sugar daddy.
Asshole, yeah. But it basically beats up Kazuki from behind. And basically, hey, you can't be here because it's afternoon.
Yep.
We're not open until nighttime.
Yep.
They get into a slug. This mother tries to help out. She gets hit.
Yep.
Eventually, Kazuki fights him off.
Yep.
And Misaki, that's her name. She's like tending to Kazuki's wounds, and then Kazuki's like telling her like, "Oh yeah, I have your daughter." Like, it's your type of thing. So, do you want her? Type of thing.
Right.
And she's like, "I fuck the child. Like she ruined my life.
Yeah."
I had it all, but as soon as I got knocked up, Yep. Like every time she laughed, smiled.
Yep. Oh, you know we're forgetting My Hero.
Get to the answer.
Yeah, no. I noticed that now. I was like, fuck, we're forgetting.
I keep forgetting the continuations.
Yes. Fuck.
Like I said, that one's easy because it's Endeavor shit.
It's so good though. We'll talk about it.
We'll get to that.
But, I didn't even play Cool Guys either.
I did not watch it, so.
Oh, dude. Okay. Whatever. Keep going. Sorry, I interrupted you. My bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this done, damn it.
Go man.
Before 12:30.
Oh, god damn it.
But then she's like talking about the little shit. Every time she was happy, I wanted to slap the shit out of her.
Mm-hmm.
I want nothing to do with her, that type of thing. Like Kazuki gets defensive about this little girl, and then I got to the point where Kazuki actually leaves. Like, this is a lost cause type of ordeal. And leaves the money for the drink, and I guess do you leave a picture of her there at the bar too, or just the money?
That's my recollection.
Okay, so while that is going on, we go back to the other side. Miri's talking to the cops, and they talk about how she's lost and all this, and then Ray sees her, and Ray sees the cops trying to take Miri, and then Ray actually steps up saying, like, I'm her papa. And that was really nice. You're muted. I was already doing your Japanese lesson.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, you're good. You're good then. That was going on, and then Kazuki meets up with everyone. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna go get food. He's like, for two? No, for free. So that was really nice. That was the end of that episode. We're gonna talk about last week's episode right now. Basically, they want to do missions, but it is a pain in the ass too because they have to watch. They had to watch Hina. So they brought up that maybe they should get a daycare. So basically, they try so they look up daycares. They all call them up right now, and it's all booked. Everything's booked. It's sold out. And then you find out you have to go to like a federal building to actually sign up your kid for all this. So they go to the counter talking about it. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, you gotta do this. We want your tax refunds, all this shit, all that shit. And then of course Kazuki starts like yelling, like, God damn it, hate this shit. But he's like, there's all this paperwork. It's like becoming too much. So Kazuki's just like, you know what? Just fucking, I'm just gonna hack the system. Just type in false information and that shit, and then that'll be all hunky dory. So they do that. They do find a daycare. And of course, fucking Miri just like almost says, "Oh, is it an assassin type of thing?" Like almost blowing Kazuki's cover, but she's just joking. Sense of humor, all that shit. They get the daycare. They approve of the daycare. It's great, and they find out they have a list of stuff to do. So basically, they have a checklist of what to bring, like clothes, books, and all this. And her name has to be in everything. So we got a little shenanigan thing of they buy all the fancy clothes, they buy all the good shit, much money, and they're spending all night sewing the names on the stuff to the point where
he's getting fucking like pinched everywhere and shit.
Yeah, like blood everywhere. He doesn't know what he's doing. Ray's passed out. Eventually they get it done. They go to the daycare. They drop Miri off.
Yep.
And when Kazuki picks her up, you just see the change of tone in her voice type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it's okay. It's like happens every time. It gets like sadder and sadder and sadder.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got a point where she doesn't want to go back anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Kazuki talks to one of the attendants there. That's about what's going on, and it's basically is how she's dressed. She's like this high civil kid, and since they're like, and the rest are like regular normal middle class, they're like there's like an intimidating thing to go up to. So they change her wardrobe. They give her normal clothes, casual clothes.
Yep. And
now they're all hanging out with her and being friends.
Yep.
And yeah, that's it with that. You didn't see today's.
Nope.
But we got more stuff from Q, the bartender, the barista guy. I love him. He's really good.
I feel like he's gonna turn, like he's got this like aura about him that he's gonna turn bad on them.
Maybe not. Like wait till you like see it. But he gets more screen time in this one. So it's nice when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now you want to do Tomo?
Yeah, we could do Tomo.
Where were we? 4 and 5, or is it 3?
3, 4, and 5. I know.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to think back. Here, I got an idea. When in doubt, go to my Instagram because I write about them anyway. I gotta go back to my story though. What's this? Tits? No tits.
Yes, tits.
No tits. Tits or no tits? That's the question.
Yes.
Damn, I've done so much already. Tomo.
Right.
Tomo. Here it is, Tomo. Okay, so episode 3 starts off with the revelation because at the end of episode 2 we find out that Jun and Mizuzu got together.
Right.
And so we get the revelation how that went. And basically, Mizuzu couldn't handle Jun's active lifestyle. And she holds a grudge because Jun broke up with her 3 days after they got together. So basically, they spent a weekend together, and he's like, "Nah, this ain't gonna work." So
because she was gonna break up with him, and she's mad that he beat her too.
He beat her first, yeah.
And he's like, "I will never forgive him for getting the one up on me."
I'll never forgive the Japanese.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it was. Like, no, he could die in a fire for all I care now. No, that's because he did it before I was going. That's not the point. I wanted to do it first. Because now I feel embarrassed, humiliated, ashamed.
Basically. And so basically the rest of the episode kind of focuses on Carol trying to get close to the girls. And you see her basically like, you know, she's really up close on their space, and you know, like she doesn't want to fight. Like the other girls like, chill, whatever. But you see she's, even though she's really stupid sounding and she acts stupid, she's actually really smart. Like they start studying for midterms.
I'll say that was the end. That was yesterday's.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was the latest one.
Okay. Well, I kind of jumbled them up.
I said we'll just put them together. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm putting them together. I'm literally reading my. If anybody sees me on live, I'm reading my breakdown from 3 through 5 from my Instagram. AI_anime24 cheap plug. Bang bang.
All right. Before we move on, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Carol's mother. Guess how old she is?
25.
28. So
close.
she
She
had
15.
she
had her at 12.
13.
What the fuck?
Carol's 15.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
13.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a thing in the manga that they showed. Yeah, my friend showed me that little image. I was like, hold up.
She's hot.
Yeah, and Tomo was freaking out.
Smoking.
Yeah, and then Tomo was freaking out in the panel. Was trying to do the math, but anyway, we get the
She's got the dick.
Oh yeah, we see the parents of Carol and Mizuzu. We'll get to them later. I like Carol. You know,
Carol. I don't love Carol.
I like Mizuzu better, but I do think she's fun. Especially
I wouldn't shock me at all if Carol wins fucking supporting girl of the year.
Yeah, like especially when what you call it, like Carol had her mouth taped for trying to hug Mizuzu.
Yeah, it was funny.
And it's like, oh look, you braided your hair like mine. Nope.
Nope, wavy. And she's like, you were mean to Carol. And she's like, well, what if I told you I was only friends with your daughter for her money? You're funny. You're a great girl.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Even though it's like, yes, probably. But
it's probably a little true. It's a little true.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of humanity in Mizuzu. Like she gets jealous when Tomo doesn't act girly or friendly.
Yeah.
To her in school.
Yeah.
And of course, when Tomo's with Jun, then they just beat the shit out of each other.
Yes.
And fight and make up the next day.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, all that shit.
Of course.
But like I said, these past few recent episodes, they've been nice.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other major parts is basically you see Tomo. Not only that, she's also getting together with the other two girls, Ogawa, and who's the other girl's name?
For which? Oh, the ones that were like that wanted to pick a fight with her.
Yeah, the one that wanted to pick a fight with her, and now they're scared of her, but Tomo wants to be friends.
Naoko and Chiyomi.
Yes.
Yeah, I see them. Yeah, it's them. Yeah.
I just know Ogawa and then the other one.
Oh yeah, Ogawa. Then it's Ogawa. Then Mifune.
Mifune. Okay.
Mifune.
Yeah, so we see them trying to get close, and we find out basically there's like a senior basically picking on Ogawa, trying to fuck her and won't leave her alone. And so fucking Tomo comes up and beats the shit out of him. And then there's some guys that are basically like his little clan, his little gang are like, oh, we're gonna beat the shit out of the girl. Don't matter if she's a girl, we're gonna beat the fuck out of her. And so then Jun comes and beats the shit out of all of them, and they all come up to fucking Tomo and they apologize.
Yeah, but like, he didn't even know. He was like, "Oh, you want to pick a fight? Russell Crowe want to fight?"
Yeah, that was cute. But no, like the rest of the episode really focuses on the rest of the last couple episodes, I should say, really focused more on Tomo trying to be more feminine. Like she changes her style with the help of Karo and Mizuzu. Like she, goes with a different style. They go on a date together and they do like the typical stuff, like they go to a batting cage, they go to a what's it called, a bowling alley, and then they go to karaoke, and we find out that Tomo is a horrible singer,
and she's the queen of kid songs, show tunes,
she sings kid songs. And I was laughing when fucking Jun video recorded her, and then Tomo and Mizuzu and Karo are like, let's see the video, and Tomo's like, you guys, and ran after them.
And like, we're going karaoke.
Yeah, we're going karaoke. So there's that aspect, and then things really come to a head in episode 5. Oh man! So basically, they said, when was the last time you hung out with Jun? Carol and Mizuzu are like, when was the last time you hang out with Jun? Like, oh, well, Jun doesn't, he's invited me, but then I get nervous. We don't really hang out anymore like we used to. And she's like, you should hang out.
Take advantage of that, yes.
Yeah, you should hang out. So Jun is telling Tomo like, hey, I bought this video game you suggested, like, it's fun. And Tomo's like, hey, we should play. And she's like, oh my god, why don't you come over? Well, we'll stay up all night, we'll play video games, it'll be fun. So she goes and tells her parents like, hey, and they're neighbors, keep in mind.
Yeah, so she's like basically she wanted to back out of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna walk with my friends. Like, no. It's like, hey dad, he invited me over. Isn't there anything you want me to do?
And he's like, no, have fun, don't cause trouble. And she tells her mom, he's like, oh, I was hoping to wait a little bit, but I gotta start thinking about this. And she's like, thinking about what? She's like, my future grandchild's name. Like, oh my god, no, it's embarrassing. So then she goes there. She goes to the house,
where's your mom?
Like, where's your mom? Your mom's like, oh, she's out of town. It's just us.
And he's like, now I really regret it.
Yeah, now she really regrets it. And so they have dinner. It was good. And then she's like, oh, well, I already took a shower, or I already took a bath, so you just got to reheat the water and you're good.
Like, nope, I'm showering. No.
But you just got to reheat the shower. And you see Tomo's got a curvy figure.
Yeah. Even though it's like a lot of fog and smog, yeah.
No, Tomo still got a rack on her. She got
curves. We knew about that.
Yeah, Tomo got some curves on her, bro. So
they do that. They have the curry, and now they're gonna finally.
They have the bath, and then afterwards they start playing video games, and things get aggressive.
They were like, "Oh yeah, well I stayed up till 11:30." Yeah, 11:30 is like, huh, pussy. I did midnight.
And it's like 10:30, and they're tired.
She's like, how do you do that?
And it was funny because they're playing video games, and then like they start getting aggressive, and Jun starts tickling Tomo, and Tomo leans back on the bed, and you see Jun basically like on top of her, and Tomo's like, they both get embarrassed really quick, and you see like there's basically hints where Jun is really starting to recognize Tomo's femininity. And after like he's starting to realize like how they act, and like it's not as appropriate because he recognizes like, oh, this is a woman, she likes me, like it'd be easy for him to want to fuck, but he's really being conscious of that. And so you see them basically, and so they're like, all right, it's 10:30, like, all right, we're going to go to bed. So they go to bed, and Tomo's awake, and Jun is like, hey, are you awake? And he goes, yeah. And they have a brief conversation, and Jun goes back to sleep. Tomo starts fucking with him in his sleep and pinches his nose. This pisses Jun off. Jun wakes up in his sleep, smashes Tomo in a fucking headlock, and they fall asleep together.
He's basically spooning her while in a headlock.
Yeah, and they fall asleep. Jun wakes up first at 6:30 in the morning the next day because they're off. I don't know why you wake up at 6:30 in the morning the next day while you're off, but okay. Wakes up 6:30 in the morning and sees that they're spooning. He freaks out and fucking falls ass over fucking tea kettle. And what's her face? Tomo wakes up afterwards.
Like,
you sleep in weird
positions.
You sleep in weird positions. So she starts going. She's like, "Oh, what a night!" It's like, "Oh, we had tofu. I took a bath. Or I had curry. Took a bath, and we played video games. I fell asleep." And then she remembered. I wake up in a futon. She was in the bed. She's like, "How did I wake up in the futon?" She gets immediately embarrassed. And then the next week and a half for them is awkward to end the episode.
Yeah, but this has been funny.
Oh, it was great.
All right, moving on. My Hero Academia.
Oh my god, what an emotional episode! I got teary-eyed for sure.
Yeah, we'll get to that part real quick because again, this is basically the same thing with these 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But the first half, real quick, it's we get like background on Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
About his little agency is an aberration for Endeavor, and Hawks is out of the hospital, but he's wearing this machine thing, and he has to type for to talk to it. And Best Genius was talking about how that had that plan where Hawks quote unquote killed him. All that was going on, and now and basically like they want to know about what they said about what Endeavor was talking about with All for One or One for All. They want to know what they meant, and maybe it's Midori type of thing. So they're on their way to the hospital to go to Endeavor. All right, great. Now we're at Endeavor. Basically, it's a big family reunion. Shoto, the sister, the brother, and who else, Ethan?
The mother, Ray.
Yep. She came and said she was talking about how it's everyone's problem because Endeavor kept blaming himself.
And you go through the entire family history from the time
and we find out
the time the other kids were born, and you basically see a breakdown of Toya's like
how we became to be. At first, it was basically like first it was the arranged marriage to have this kid's ultimate weapon. Yeah, and so with this. You find out with Dobby or Toe.
Dobby's the first one.
Yep. And like how he has great firepower, but there's a cost to it.
Compatibility. He doesn't have he has his mother's ice compatibility, but he's got his father's quirk.
And the fire part of him is stronger. So because of this,
he's killing himself every time he uses the quirk. It's burning him. Burns so much. Yeah.
And he starts to actually feel bad.
Yeah,
because basically he's been manipulating him for like 12 years and years.
And each of his children, like, I birthed you so you can be better than All Might. Your goal in life is to be better than All Might.
And when
the other kids, they're quirkless, right? His 2 other kids are quirkless.
I believe they're either quirkless or it's like very weak. And like Dobby's is the only one that's strong, but it kills him. So basically, hey, be a distraction to him.
Yeah.
While Shoto's the one tells
like, yo, it's okay. You could be with your other brothers and sisters. Like, there's a life outside of being a hero. But he ruined Dobby by putting his dreams and his hopes and his desires.
Again, in those 12 years,
Dobby took that
everything.
Literal. 13,
sorry. But still, like from birth till then.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, they think he's going to just turn it off just because he said so.
No.
And no, that was not going to work.
Not at all.
And it got to the point, now Shoto's the one that's isolated away from them.
Yes.
And then you find out that Dobby was actually trading in secret.
Yeah.
It got to the point where Endeavor smacked his wife.
He fucking slapped that bitch.
Yeah, all this, and then he's like, why weren't you protecting Dobby and all this? Well, I'm doing this with Shoto. Shoto starts trying to confront him, like, hey, don't hit mom.
Yeah.
But
slowly but surely, between Endeavor's passion and hate and Dobby's words of anger, because of the fact that Dobby basically said roundabout way, I didn't ask to be born. Like, you're complicit in like my circumstance.
Basically, it's your fault that it's your fault that Daddy doesn't love me. Basically,
and it started breaking her. Then Endeavor happened, broke her even more. And she was just already broken when she fucking splashed she splashed Shoto with the boiling water and gave him the scar.
And
that's what
she admitted herself into the mental
ward. But we start seeing the actual events of the accident. He goes start training in the mountains so he can hold his flames. He tells his dad, like, hey, come. Like he starts figuring out like his flames are turning blue, and he's like, oh, like this is great. Like he's like, I hit puberty, and he's like, it's like I get excited. Like instead of like jerking off and coming, he's like, my flames turn blue. He's like, it's an emotional reaction when I get excited.
And
so he turned it sexual in a way, but it's unique in that aspect of
and
development.
And just the tears in his eyes when he's like talking about all this with Endeavor.
Yeah.
Everything. And then
it ruined. The kid was ruined.
Yeah, and I'll get to Endeavor in a bit after this.
Yeah, we'll get into a little bit. I just saw this today. So basically, he goes to the mountain. His father, tells his father, show up. Father doesn't show up. He starts crying, and he's like, don't cry. He's telling himself, don't cry, don't cry. And he cries fire, and his entire body lights up. And that's supposedly the end of Toya. Endeavor's ruined. It ruins Ray. Like, it ruins the entire family that, like, Endeavor's passion and desire to beat All Might killed their son. And it just devastated them. And you still see Endeavor, and Endeavor, this strong-willed man. Endeavor is bawling. He's absolutely bawling tears.
Yeah, and now everyone in the family is just saying, like, it's our problem.
It's our problem. Like, yeah, you brought him to that point, but we didn't do anything to stop him. We all could have done better. And Shoto finally goes up to him. He's like, Dad, he's like, I brought everybody here because I thought you couldn't fight, but I know you can fight. And when you're done crying, we'll kill him together. Like, the family is resigned to the fact that Dabi must die.
I think it's just more stopping him.
They said kill. They literally said kill.
The
subtitle said kill.
Okay, then good luck.
Yeah, the subtitle said kill. It's like, we're gonna kill him together. And then who shows up as they're saying this, Matt?
Who did show up?
Dabi and I'm sorry, not Dabi. Fucking Hawks and Penis.
Yeah, Hawks and Penis. And then now like, oh yeah, you're awake. Good, right? Now we gotta start.
No, they're like, we couldn't help but eavesdrop. We're sorry for eavesdropping. Very inappropriate because it's a family matter. And you see fucking Hawks tapping in the on his phone so we can like project his voice.
Yeah.
But they start saying like, listen, like and Genus is like, I oh my god, they fucking knocked down Navarrete. Holy shit. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm watching boxing in between this, guys. Okay. I'm watching boxing. That's crazy. Navarrete is quick breakdown on boxing for those who care about boxing. Navarrete is the current champion, 30-1. He's facing an underdog from fucking Australia. He just got knocked down for a second time. He's buying time, trying to put his mouthpiece in, and they're boxing again. Oh my god, this is fucking enthralling. I wish I wasn't recording right now. I'd be enjoying the shit out of this. Anyway, back to
if we did yesterday, yes.
Sorry.
And I'd be still high, passed out.
Yeah, you probably would be. No, but so he's like, yeah, at the end of the day, like Genus is like, at the end of the day, like I entrusted my life to Hawks, and like, and Hawks is like, I would have never known like anything about this. Who would have known that your passion would have like driven them to that? And then he's like, oh, so the scar on Shota's face, that's your fault, Endeavor? And Ray's like, no, it's my fault. And excuse me. So they're like, listen, together, all of us together, we can stop Dabi. And basically Hawks briefs Endeavor on everything that's gone on. He's like, so half of the League of Villains, 100, I think what they said, 151 members of the coalition, 7 near high-end Nomus, and 10,000 people from Tartarus and the other 6 prisons are released. The citizens are taking arms. They're causing more injury because they're not trained heroes.
Yeah, they've got the support items. Some top heroes, a top hero retired.
And heroes, they see the way the winds have changed and they're retiring, So, so basically, it's just like kind of like it's a rally. They're rallying, and then the end of the episode is phenomenal. We see Bakugo pissed off trying to talk to Deku. They bring him away eventually with Sue's tongue and everybody trying to drag him out. And Hawks and Genus go over to Midoriya's room because they recognize, they're like, oh, and that's the thing that you mentioned. Endeavor.
Yeah, we want to talk about One for All.
One for All.
And then he blurred out Deku.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah, Endeavor blurred out Deku, and
Deku, and they go to Deku's thing, and they're like, "Oh, All Might said to leave them alone," and they're like, "All Might, Deku, like that's the key." And you see All Might talking to Deku while Deku's unconscious. He's like, I feel the you in me. He's like, I know what you're going through. You're talking to all the predecessors of One for All, aren't you? That's going to lead into the next episode where he's in the One for All realm.
Yep.
Oh,
but
it's a 5-star anime. Can I just rate it 5 stars already?
You can give it 5 stars if you want.
I'm going to give it 5 stars. I don't see how this goes down. How does it?
I don't know what they're gonna do, but say if it keeps up, then yeah, for sure.
I want to rate 17 out of 25, and I want to rate it 5 stars.
Okay, then rate
it. I don't see how this goes down beyond 5 stars.
Like I said, I don't know yet.
I don't see how it does. This is easily surpasses by far the best season of My Hero that they've ever done.
No, it is. It definitely is.
It's stupendous.
Also, can we say fuck Endeavor?
Yes, but it's better late than never.
I know, but
he didn't die with his pride. He didn't die with these sins.
I know, but
he gets an opportunity. He's getting an opportunity to confront the sins of his past and make them.
Then be in jail. Turn yourself in.
What did he do? Other than
domestic
violence.
I say the domestic abuse, just fucking ruining the kids. Like got to the point where I got one of them.
But ruining a kid isn't a crime.
But I'm saying get a point like he drove to one of them basically dying, and again abusing his wife, domestic abuse. He still gets shit for that. Again, it's more of he's a hero who gets away with shit. He's just a manipulator.
Sure. I mean, yeah, he was a piece of shit back then, but being broken by his living son, who we thought was dead, being turned into a murderous fucking villain, it gives him the opportunity, like I said, to face the sins of his past and be able to confront them. As someone who's faced the sins of his past in the past, I think that if you have any person that has those like deep connections to their past and they're able to confront that, at first it's truly awful, no doubt, it's truly awful. But if you're able to have an opportunity to rectify that, I find that beautiful. And the principle of being able to have that opportunity when many people don't have that opportunity and get to die with that burden on them, I think that's a wonderful thing. So as much as it's fuck Endeavor for all the domestic violence he did on Ray and all
just how he was with everyone.
He's getting
just to be better, like his ego.
He gets a second chance though. And that's fine. It's rehabilitation. That's what everybody talks about, the people that are in jail that are the same thing. They go through these classes. There are people that do get rehabilitated.
No, I agree. They do.
This is Endeavor's rehabilitation. This is the rebuilding of Endeavor as a human hero and not just a fucking like sociopath hero.
Right.
I dig that very much.
This hopefully has a good ending to that story.
Has to. Real quick, do you see? I feel like one of his children is going to die.
I kind of wanted to say Endeavor.
I don't think Endeavor dies.
No, it might be the mother.
Oh man, that would fucking suck.
If someone were to die, I think it would be the mother.
That would suck.
It would. It would be crazy, yeah.
All right, let's move on.
All right, now we got 3 more.
We'll be done by 4 hours.
Yeah. So, well, this one is because you didn't see last week's Trigun, right?
I did.
You did?
I saw it right before the show.
Okay.
Right before we started.
All right, so we got to. We put the
introduction of Wolfwood. Yes, I did.
Well, before that, though.
Yes, before that.
Yeah, but basically, put the word left off. Gosev blew up.
Yes.
And you find out. Yep, he did.
He's dead.
Yeah, but basically, there's an intruder there that's going on that wants the plants, and he has all these bombs.
Yes.
Basically, and he's
the bombs are lost tech. They're not just bombs; they're lost tech.
Mm-hmm. But we'll get to that person later. But
yes,
all that I can't wait for that. But all's going on. Basically, these bombs are like attached to people, like everyone in the village, basically Vash, Roberto, everyone. They're all getting it. And
you know what I noticed also with this last episode that passed? It was before it was Millie and Meryl, right? And Meryl was Senpai. Now it's the reverse, where Meryl's Kohai and Roberto senpai.
Yeah.
And you get referred to as senpai. I noticed that for the first time, and I was like, wow, what a difference.
Right?
This Meryl's so hot.
That's cute, yeah.
Oh, I want to put my fucking finger in her asshole. So fucking fine.
But yeah, everyone has a bomb attached to them, and the only way you can do is if they take it from the person, if he turns it off.
Yeah.
Did we get his name?
Who?
The bomber.
I don't remember him.
All right, we'll call him Bomb Man.
Oh, ED.
ED, okay.
Yeah, ET or ED the bomber.
Yeah, ED the bomber, or before he was the landmine, but now he's just the bomber.
Yes, ED the bomber.
Yep. So ED, basically, he has to turn it off.
Yes.
They go there. He sees ED. ED's about to grab the plants.
Yes.
It leads into a chase, and they got to the point where Vash was able to put. Did Vash put a bomb on him, or he just latched himself onto him?
He had the bomb on him already, and he lashed himself. Him and
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, they fucking grab him. They're like, "Dearm it, or you're gonna die with us."
Yeah, because theirs got triggered before, like they were glowing, like they were lighting up, and ED he dropped the plants, so I was like, "Shit, I got nothing."
Yeah.
So that happened. Bazagan though, but they're like, Vash starts freaking out, and it got to the point where he's telling everyone to leave.
Yep.
Like only he knows something that's going on.
Yes.
And he runs up. Who does he see?
Knives.
He saw Knives.
Knivs is back.
Knivs. I gotta say, they made him more intimidated in this than in the original.
Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did it right. And he's just scary.
Yep.
And it was just in that one episode.
Yep.
But yeah, like the multiple nights going on, he killed ED. Did he kill ED during this little massacre, or
no? He escaped, I think.
Oh, he's okay. Someone died.
Yep.
The old man, yes, Nebraska, because he had the rocket launcher. I want my son.
He got blown up. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Vash was like telling him to get out of there.
Yep.
And Nice is just wrecking shit. He wants the plants, like it doesn't belong to them.
Yep.
It was never theirs. It's ours.
Yep.
And it's just so good. He eventually gets it and he leaves.
Yep.
And then Vash starts trying to apologize to the people.
Yep.
And they tell him to leave.
Yep.
Like, you're nothing but trouble here. And Vash he doesn't fight it. He understands.
Yep.
And then, Meryl, she's like trying to chase him. Like, where are you going? And like, why are you smiling?
Yep.
And it's like, I don't deserve to be sad because he's basically saying he caused this shit.
Yep.
And it's like, this is my doing.
Yep.
So I don't deserve to. So he's like just taking all this burden.
Yep.
And yeah, the reboot, yeah, is like a darker take on Trigun.
It is. I'm thoroughly enjoying this way more than the other Trigun. Not only because
I haven't seen the OG in like 20 years, so I would need a refresher. Maybe we'll do a special episode on.
It's a lot more, to me, as you mentioned, this is a darker take on the original. The other one is very lighthearted. There hasn't really been a lighthearted episode of this series. There's been lighthearted moments.
Yeah.
But there has not been a single lighthearted episode per se. Everything has been jam-packed full of action, story, developments. Knives seems fucking more OP, more sinister. Bash seems kinder, sweeter, but not over the top. Like, when you saw the original,
like he still acts like himself in a way, but it's just
he was very goofy in the original. That's one of the
Right.
things that irked me about the original is Vash was very goofy, aloof. He's not aloof in the new series. He's still friendly. He's still compassionate, but he's got a certain thing to him where he's not oblivious. Like, he looks like he's harboring many sins, where versus you didn't find out about his many sins until later on in the series.
Right.
Like, off in this series, you know he's harboring like deep shit, you know.
Yeah,
and it clicks more. It clicks more. Like I said, you know, I said that in my review. At the end of the day, like you have to appreciate the older style animes because of the animation style itself. But in terms of the story, I find way better like feeling. I feel more invested by far in this story compared to the other one. Although they still kept the fact that Vash is not a killer. Vash is humane. Literally at the end of the episode, when you have the oh wait, no, we haven't talked about the next episode, have we?
not yet. No, that was gonna be like I was getting right into that.
Okay, so let's segue into that, and I'll say it at the end.
But yeah, one of my favorites came back. Wolfwood.
Yes.
You see him like roaming in the desert.
God, this is strong.
Like he's starving, dehydrated.
Yes.
First you thought he was a lollipop guy now, but he's still a smoker.
Yeah, I thought I was like, oh, he sucks lollipops now. Okay, and then I'm like, nope, he still chain smokes like a motherfucker.
Yeah, eventually, Vash and Roberto, he was driving the car.
Yep.
He almost at first he saw Wolfwood.
Yep.
And he accidentally hit him.
He broke his arm.
Yep.
Briefly.
Yep, briefly broke his arm.
How the fuck do you briefly break an arm?
You know.
Anime.
Yeah, that. It's Wolfwood. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, didn't he charge him? He did. Wasn't that where he first charged in the invoice? Or was it for the
$20,000 for a funeral?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they wanted they had this all nearby area. Like, okay, they need to eat type of thing.
Yeah, so they basically after they hit Wolfwood, they rescue him. They bring him to like the most local hospital. They enter the hospital and they see the doctors shot dead. And they hear
there's a kid in the closet.
In the locker. Yeah, in the locker. So they open the locker. There's a kid. They bury the thing there, his parents, and Wolfwood is very kind, although he's oblivious to like doing a funeral. He like fucks up the funeral and the rites, the final services and shit.
Yeah. Oh boy. But what else happened after that?
I'm still watching the boxing in between that. This is a really good fight. For anybody that loves boxing, I have my other podcast. Shout out to my boy Andy, MMA for Marks. I will talk about this on Tuesday when we record, because Monday I'm going to Monday Night Raw. Ugh. But it's okay. It's for a good purpose. But in any case.
But Roberto is like having doubts on Wolfwood, because there's a guy controlling worms, and basically.
Yeah, so basically they see like an aurora borealis and like, oh, it's so pretty. Like, nope, those are worms. And then as soon as they bury him and Wolfwood gives him a lollipop, tells him like, it's okay, kid. Like, you know, I was an orphan, They get swallowed up by the fucking king worm.
Yep.
End up in the king worm's belly. They're trying to find a way out. So they all split into different passages. And Meryl finds the kid and then gets swallowed up and disappears.
Yep. Now it's Roberto, Vash, and Wolfwood.
Yeah, and Roberto's like, what's in that cross you got there? It's pretty heavy to just be a regular cross. And he's like, well, I can't tell you. He's like, and he pulls out his fucking strap. And he's like, well,
he's like, nope, it's like he's luring us to a trap.
Yep. And then Roberto disappears. And they're like, what the fuck? So it's just Wolfwood. I'm sorry, it's just Wolfwood and Vash, and they're trying to find their way out. Eventually they end up in the nasal cavity of the worm. The worm sneezes them out, but Vash, not wanting to fucking
leave them,
him and Wolfwood get swallowed up again, and they see the kid there, and the kid has all the flies around him, and Vash can hear the whistling. There's like, I think you have a dog whistle. Apparently there's a fucking a worm whistle.
Yeah,
and he hears the worm whistle and is like, oh, so you know, when were you going to tell us that you can control the worms? And the guy is like, well, you know, this isn't audible to a human. You must be different, huh? And we find out that the kid is the villain.
Yep, he's Zazie the Beast. Yep.
He's Zaza the Beast.
Yep, and then Wolfwood reveals his cross.
Yep. And it's a fucking laser beam!
It's a laser machine gun type.
Laser beam machine gun. Machine gun's a hole in the fucking worm. And eventually, once Zaza disappears and escapes, he fucking does a laser beam and cuts the fucking worm in half.
Right. Jesus. So
savage. Bro, you know what that laser beam reminded me of?
What?
A laser beam from Gundam.
Okay.
I don't know the name. There's an official name for it. I don't remember it.
Reagan? No, but
I said it like Austin Powers. Laser beam.
Laser
beam.
Oh, I was gonna say the laser gun from Akira.
Or that too. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so basically Roberto, Meryl, they're back. They're celebrating for now.
Yep.
Eating bug meat type of thing.
Yeah.
And what happens after this? Like, what happens?
You see Wolfwood goes to a secluded place by himself. He's chain smoking like usual. And Zaza appears. And Wolfwood's like, you almost killed me. And he's like,
I gotta make it look good.
He's like, I gotta make it look good. He's like, but you earned their trust. And he's like, oh, and Wolfwood's like basically kind of like he feels bad. And Zaza's like, oh, your specialty is killing friends, quote unquote friends. Yeah. And he's like, well, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So they did keep that part of the original story as well, that Wolfwood, and they revealed it very early that Wolfwood is a double agent. Before in the old one, you didn't hear that Wolfwood was a double agent until right before he died, basically.
Right.
Like a couple episodes before he died, and he had that final fucking showdown with Vash. Now they revealed it in episode 4. And they just knocked down fucking Navarrete.
I know, and people are complaining. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
This is great.
No, it's just
this is really good. I shouldn't say great. This is really fucking good.
No, this is the top in the season for me. It's just
the top on your season
for right now.
This is one of my surprises for sure.
No, that too, and I'm saying like it's one of my top ones for the season so far.
Yeah,
if it keeps up, as again, they did Knives a lot better already in just these 2 episodes. They made him more menacing.
Yeah,
Wolfwood seems a little cooler, and it is fun. It's just a shame that they're not really giving it a fair chance.
No, not at all.
Just nostalgia. Just compared it to
blind glasses. Just sure.
That's how I said with Bleach, but with the popularity, first they hated it, all of a sudden they just loved it. Like,
yeah,
it's just a fickleness, and it's just again, it's just more just give it a fair chance. Just look at it as its own entity, and then you would probably enjoy it.
If you had never seen the original and saw this would be fucking stupendous.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you'll get those toxic anime fans. Oh no, don't watch it. Watch the original. The better. It's a masterpiece. It's classic.
Yep.
Again, I enjoy it for what it is. I'm not going to compare it to the original. It's just it's its own thing, different take.
Yep.
And I'm enjoyed it. I'm been very happy with it so far.
Yep.
So good shit. Even that people are not going to vote for it, I'm still enjoying it.
This is fucking great. And Navarrete beat Wilson. Holy shit. He fucking knocked him out in the 9th. Oh my god.
Nice.
For those who like boxing, this is a great boxing match. You should definitely watch it. As I'm going to turn it off now.
All right, we got 2 more.
All right, buddy.
All right, talk about your baby. Just keep it under 10 minutes.
I'll do my best. The angel next door spoils me rotten. Oh my god. Okay, so as we continue to see Angel and the angel next door spoils me rotten, it's again the main developments are basically where you see Mahiru and Amane get closer throughout the series. Is they get closer through their everyday interactions. And one of the key things I think that makes me feel more at home with this show is the fact that as they get closer, Mahiru continues to slowly come out of her guard, and she slowly lets on more and more about her troubled past. And the little things that count that Amane does are just, it's really good. So basically the beginning of episode 3, I believe, no, episode 4
with her mother.
Yeah, is that 4?
Which mother?
Amane's mother.
That was 3.
It was 3. Okay, so the beginning of episode 3 starts off with Mahiru chilling with Amane one day, and Amane's mother comes up out of nowhere, unannounced, and is like, "Oh, I'm here to see my son." Da, 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 da. And she's like, "Wow, you have the place clean. You have dishes for 2. What's going on? Like, what's in your bedroom?" And you see basically that he hid Mahiru in the bedroom, Sheena in the bedroom, and they open the bedroom. You see Mahiru knocked out, like asleep in the bed, like near the bed. She's holding onto the pillow, and the mother's like, "Oh my god, you have such a pretty girlfriend!" And they try to explain to her what the circumstances going on. The mother's not buying it, but they basically, it's like instant love with Shihoko is her name, Shihoko and Mahiro, and they exchange contact numbers, which is cute. That comes into play a little later, but nothing too serious.
Right.
But basically, slowly but surely, there are little secrets coming out. And one of the things that I was mentioning in terms of the little things that he does is Amane always gives positive reinforcement. Always is to like, hey, like, she got first in the class on midterms. Amane was like 30th or something like that. His normal rank. He's like, that's about right. That's cool. Whatever. He's in the top 30. Good enough. Sheena's number one. Mahiru's number one. And so, that's that. And Amane begins to get annoyed because they're like, oh, that's the angel. Like, oh, she must have better brains than us. And in his head, he's like, you guys just don't see how hard she works. And it's the little things of how, like, he compliments her, tells her, like, keep your head up. Like, I don't understand why you're so hard on yourself. Like, you're amazing. You're special. And it really starts to, like, affect Mahiru, and she gets emotional. She gets visibly emotional a lot without going over the top, so she doesn't reveal her past. But you could tell Amane is really, like, getting kind of into it, and he's recognizing these things. He gets her a little gift as a thank you. I skipped ahead. Sorry. During the event with his mother, when he was trying to hide her, he's like, here's my key. I'll try and sneak you out. And so after the mother leaves, Mahiru is like, here's your key back. And he's like, no, keep it. And she's like, oh, like, I feel weird. He's like, I'm giving you the key because I trust you. And that opened up Mahiru's eyes. And again, she was kind of like happy with the fact that, like, oh, no one's ever called me my name. It's been a while since someone called me by my actual first name. It's always Sheena. And then Amane is like, Mahiru. And she opens up and he's like, it's not that difficult. He tells her, like, it's not that difficult to be called by your first name as long as you want it. And she gets emotional and she says, Amane. And he gets like that. And the same thing. So they're like, all right, let's just, we call each other by our first names when we're together. Again, another key development of a relationship, calling somebody by their first name in Japan. It's a big thing. And so as a thank you for hitting for getting first place, he buys her a cake. And she's like, you didn't have to buy me a cake. And he's like, you should celebrate, you're first in the class, that deserves a reward. And she's like, I'm always first in the class, that doesn't mean anything. She's like, yeah, but you work hard. Don't you want a reward for your hard work? And again, opens up Mahiru's eyes. She becomes a little emotional. They start eating cake together, like, here, I feed you, you feed me. But then one of the key things that happens throughout this period is that you see Amane begin to really, like, embrace his feelings.
Right.
He's like, damn, like, I really do like this girl, but she doesn't like me. I'm just a nobody, whatever. And Mahiru hasn't realized that, but it's these little things that keep opening up her eyes, keep wanting her to be closer, wanting to continue to hang out with him, things like that. And so moving on, the next day in school, or one of the days in school, Ikun and Chitose are like, hey, what are you doing Christmas Eve? Let's have a party at your house. And consciously thinking about the fact that he always has dinner with her, she's like, all right, as long as we're done with dinner. All right, so they hang out, everything's good, they have pizzas, whatever, and they talk shit, whatever, and it starts snowing. And so Chitose and Ikuyu go outside, and they're like, oh, it's white snow. And they're like, huh? And they look outside and they see Mahiru, and they knew about the next door neighbor. Amane had admitted to them, like, hey, everything I'm doing is with my next door neighbor. The next door neighbor is the Tenchi. It's Mahiru. She comes over. They start explaining everything that's happening. They don't buy it. They clearly think there's something developing there, but both of them deny it. But they decide to be close. They're like, hey, don't let this secret come out. It's going to be bad for both of us. Let it be. Like, don't say shit. They're like, okay, cool. And so they want to be friends with her. That's cool. And so they spend Christmas Eve together. They have dinner together. And before this, Mane was like, hey, what are you doing Christmas, since I can't hang out with you Christmas Eve? And she's like, oh, I'm not doing anything. And she's like, well, you want to spend Christmas with me? And she's like, well, what is there to do? And Amane is like, you're right, there's nothing to do, I'm sorry. And Mahiru looks around. She's like, I've never played video games before. Why don't we play video games? And she's like, you just want to hang out and play games? And she's like, yeah, that'd be nice. Okay, let's do it. So she comes over next day on Christmas. They play video games for a while. She's leaning, playing video games. It's kind of cute. She falls on his lap. They get embarrassed. And then they do a gift exchange. And Amane's gift is a coin purse. Or not coin purse, I'm sorry, a key holder. Because for the key, she's like, I gave you my key out of trust. Here's a key holder. If you don't want to use it, no problem. All good. Right. And she's like, no, I'll cherish it. I appreciate it. She gives him a scarf. It's nice and warm. And they say another couple cute things. She gets embarrassed. And that's obviously one of the biggest tropes in anime when somebody's talking to somebody else and they get embarrassed. Adorable for sure. And as she goes outside so they can enjoy the snow. It's a white Christmas. They're like, well, a white Christmas is normally good for couples. For us, it doesn't mean anything. And she's like, well, let's just enjoy how pretty it is. So they go outside, they have a moment together as they're looking into the night sky, and Mahiro sneezes. Come find out the next day on the 26th, she caught a cold. And she's like, why are you so red? And she's like, I'm just flustered, have like whatever. She's like, oh, you have a cold? And she's like, oh, it's not that bad. She's like, well, let's take your temperature right now and prove it. So she goes in the bathroom, she takes the temperature, and she goes 37.4. It's a slight fever. And he snatches the thermometer from her. And another key thing is he's becoming more assertive because he understands like she's trying to not show her vulnerabilities to him, but he recognizes these things and he's being a dominant man, but not in like an over assertive way, not in a douchebag way. He's like basically being like her man. And that was one of the other things that they had mentioned during when they were all hanging on Christmas Eve. Like, dude, you have like basically the angel of the class is like your like practice wife. And they like get embarrassed by that. But in effect, that's what it is. She cooks, cleans, they hang out, they have dinners, they talk, they have real conversations. It's really nice. So she snatches the thermometer from her. It's 38.8. That's the equivalent of like 100 something degrees because it's in Celsius.
Right.
So she's got over 100-degree fever. And he's like, nope, your bed or my bed. Where are you going to rest? Because you need the rest. And he's like, what if I said neither? She's like, no, you've been burnt. He basically says you've been burning the candle at both ends. You need the rest. You've been studying. You've been taking care of me. You're exhausted. You need to rest. So my bed or your bed. And he's like, he's like, you shouldn't enter a girl's room. He's like, I don't care. You need the rest. So I'll bust in your house and I'll put you in your bed. I don't care. Your bed or my bed. So she's like, all right, fuck, fine. Your bed. So he lays her in bed, picks her up, like, everything, puts her in bed. Lays her down, has rice porridge, has water, has the cold compresses, and he's like, go to bed, go to sleep. And he's gonna walk away, and I keep fucking up the names. Mahiro grabs his pant leg and is like, stay with me. And she's like, oh, basically you want me to treat you like a child? And she's like, yeah. So they hold hands until she falls asleep. He falls asleep on the couch the next day. He wakes up, knocks on the door, like, hey, are you okay? Yeah. Do you want to eat? Yeah, whatever. They eat. They talk for a little bit. And we find out a little bit more about Mahiro's history, about how her housekeeper was the one that would take care of her when she was sick. And we found out earlier in the previous episode, like she's the one that that's another thing. She's the one that basically cooked for her. And like she said, like, oh, like my cooking's nothing compared to hers, because when she cooked and you ate it, it felt like pure joy. And Amane is like, well, you cook already and it already feels like joy. She becomes emotional, and Amane recognizes that immediately. He's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I just didn't think that I cooked with joy. And he's like, I love your cooking. I can eat it every day. I want to eat it every day. Like every time I eat, it's joy with you. And she gets emotional, another recognition of that. But in any case, they have a conversation. They continue to talk about her housekeeper for a little bit. And then he's like, all right, we'll go to bed. And he's going to get up. And then she's like, you want me to hold your hand while you go to sleep? And she goes, yeah, I'd like that. And they hold hands. And the episode ends with him saying, man, you're bad for my heart. He's embracing this, but he's hurting himself because they can't be that way. But obviously we know where this is going. And
it's been nice.
It's so beautiful. And like I said, I relate to that so much because in my current relationship, the way things are, like I enjoy those little moments with my chick, like, and just like the desire to like, I can't wait for her to cook for me. I can't wait for her to spend the night, those little things. And it like, I enjoy seeing this so much because it's so relatable in my current circumstance. And it's just it hits home, just like, you know, the developments of a relationship. And keep in mind, I've known my chick for over 10 years, and we're just now to this point after all the ups and downs. When I mentioned about my hero and being able to rectify the sins of my past, I've been in that circumstance as well. And I'm going through this now, and I'm able to rectify my sins of my past with her, and it's a wonderful thing that I'm able to go through right now. But just, you know, just in terms of being able to, you know, like develop this and embrace this new unfound reality that they're in, where he was just like a loser living by himself with not really any friends, and he was unhealthy, and like how much she's changed him, and very slowly but surely how much Amane is changing Mahiru as well, embracing her, keep like making her feel good, positive vibes, positive reinforcements, showing her that people love her. She's not just a thing, she's a human, and she's a very wonderful human, and making her appreciate herself while they appreciate her for what she does for them. Fucking amazing. And as I told you before in our chat, it's going to go down a dark path. The reason why I didn't close with this, because I think that that's going to be such an incredible revelation when we find out the depths of how dark her parents are. Because even in earlier in the episode, you know, she's like, my parents never called me by my name. My parents never really cared. My parents weren't around. Clearly they're around, but there's clearly a disconnect somewhere where they don't express their love properly, or there's a misunderstanding, or she's some sort of bastard child or something along those lines, hence why she's living by herself. Whenever she mentions, or again in episode 3, how, like, you know, it's nice that you have a mother that cares about you, and, you know, Amane is like, well, she's annoying and she's, you know, prodding, da da da. She's like, still, it's nice. And it's like she has no parental love, and that's driven her to this point where she's been alone. And she mentions in the previous episode how I've always been alone from day until night. The only person that would ever give an iota of a fuck about me was my housekeeper, and even then she lived her life. She would go home and it would just be me. And to have someone, that's one of the reasons why she clings on to Amane so much, is because of the fact that, like, she's no longer alone. This man has filled a void in her heart that she didn't know necessarily existed, or she didn't know that it was okay to fill. And it's just a wonderful scene that's developing, and we're only in episode 5, and it's only going to continue to get better, I think. And it's going to, you know, eventually lead to such, I think it's going to lead to a glorious climax. And I know Starman in our chat had said, like, oh, it's got Horror Mia vibes. Horror Mia differs from the fact that they get together by episode 4. They become a couple.
Right.
This is going to be a slow burn where they're eventually going to become a couple, probably by the season finale, you'd have to imagine. And I don't know enough about the manga or anything like that to determine, like, oh, is there going to be a season 2, or how does it play out, like things of that nature. I don't know that information, but just the ride that they're on is such a pure ride. Again, this is another show that has very little to no fan service. They're very wholesome, and you can see just the wonderful characteristics in Amane. Obviously Mahiru's billed as the angel next door. She's billed as this wonderful human being, and she rightfully is. She's amazing. But to see this dull guy who is content being the background character with no real affection or real anything in his life, to see how much his life has changed for the better, and to see how much he's influencing her and showing her what real love is in this crazy circumstances, absolutely wonderful. I am beholden to this show. This is one of, by far, my favorites of the season. The OP is one of my favorites of the season. It is so good as well. I adore this. Absolutely adore this. That's why I just went on I went on an annual spiel. This is some shit that you would say on the annual, and I just went on this because of how much I love this show. Glorious.
All right, very good. You ready for the main event? Yeah, we'll cut it in half.
Oh, good God.
It won't be 4 hours next week because we're only be talking about one episode.
Oh God. Sorry, I just chugged the rest of the Hayama. Oh, good God.
But people, we apologize, and the ones that are tuned in, thank you still.
We have 3 people still tuned in. I believe it's still, 2 on W2M YouTube, 1 on our Twitch. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Again, we apologize for being almost 4 hours.
This is what happens when you skip 2 weeks and there's 28 plus animated review, guys.
Yeah,
we bit off way too much more than we should. We really need to like. I think we need to seriously, as much as like there's been great anime this season, we need to like have a limit. We need to have that limit of like more than 20.
or limit how long we talk about a show.
It's no, but like I think if you're a listener to our show at this point, if you're listening 3 hours in general, like that we're going to go on long-winded spiels because we go over reviews and we throw our little quirks and little comments and things like that. But we also give our opinions on our different shows, as you just heard from Trigun, from Matt, and myself with Angel and some of our other ones. Like you kind of know what the ride is about. It's just I think the amount of anime that we cover is really what sets us so far in terms of our timeline. Because I mean, I don't think we do it justice if we just do like, oh, what were your thoughts on this? What were your thoughts on this? And at the same time,
I'm saying let's not make 20 minutes per episode.
But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it just shows our passion, dude. It shows our passion.
I'm saying, but basically, we may as well just print out the scripts and just read it.
That's the best thing about our show. It's not scripted. It's not WWE.
I know. I'm saying print out the script of the episodes we're watching, just read them.
I mean, that's kind of what we're doing as it is. We've always done that, but we digress. To Your Eternity.
Yeah, this one we're giving it its flowers for.
I love this season so much more than season 1. So much more.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were bitching and complaining, but you know what? This was fine.
No, this is a solid 4 and like a minimum 4.25 for me.
Yeah, right now. Right now it's 4.25.
It's about 4.25. It's got a potential to be 4.5. Yes, dude.
So that's the thing. Yeah, we definitely got 6 more.
Dude, are you still high?
Yes.
How many megs was your edible?
I don't fucking know. Just grab one.
Motherfucker, you don't read?
I had a long day. I ain't reading shit. I'm taking something, I'm eating, and we're good to go.
You're off tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Thank God.
I'm having an edible every day till Monday. Out of the fucking couple of weeks of having my shifts, yeah, I'm taking an edible. I'm just gonna chill, and people are gonna leave me alone. But yeah, you tell, pal. You fucking tell.
Nan this guy, Neko-san.
This one we got 2 episodes. This one first, it's a couple of kids bullying Echo. Those stone them.
Stone them.
Yes. The Fushi turned the wolf to just basically, hey, go, scrap, yeah, say nice. All's going on, and most of this was about Fushi still like tearing stuff down, rebuilding stuff. Fushi was able to finally meet the princess face to face. He talks about how he has to actually knock out the actual castle and the castle walls to rebuild it. And you're like, yep, that's fine. Like, let's just do it. So and so day, but right now focus on this.
Yep.
And as they were doing this, the villagers were questioning it because they start to feel the sticky white stuff coming from Fushi. So, because it's a part of him, so the whole thing. So they're questioning the wise man, even though it's Fushi, because they still think Fushi's trapped in that iron cage thing.
Yep.
So all that, they're like talking to the princess, they're like, we demand answers, that type of thing. And then eventually it got to the point where Fushi is like slowly getting caught. And now the villagers are like, oh, it's him. But Bon and what was the other man's name? Robin. Bon and Robin. They were talking to the villagers, and even the fat kid. And he was helping. He was sticking up for them. Everyone was there. And then basically we go to the Morden, and Fushi sees everyone staring at him. They were trying to figure out what's going on, and now they all had like this pose of salute and like respect. Yep. And Bon was like telling Fushi like they accepted him.
Yep.
Like that everyone's on our side for this. So that was the end of that. And now basically it's like the actual setup of the battles. Everything's becoming undone. Everything's becoming basically Fushi has everything ready. Everything was like officially rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
They had plans for like certain weapons. And basically, who talked to Kohaku about the knocker on his arm?
Pokua.
Which one?
Pokua.
Pokua. Okay, sorry. But yeah, basically the talk was like, so why can't your knocker leave the arm?
Yep.
What did the knocker say?
What did it say? We convey our, like, we understand humans, like it basically reiterated the same thing, like how we don't like pain and we think the human body is the source of pain, so that's why we want to return everybody to souls, so that way they don't have to deal with pain anymore. And one of the things that we react on the most is human emotion.
Right. While all that's going on, the Aurelis army, even the sisters now, Poka, she's
Right.
there. She has all the army.
Yep.
The fucking girl, the boy.
Yep.
Everyone's there. They're all getting ready for this.
Yep.
And Fushi is incredibly tired, so he passes out for a bit.
Yep.
And
No,
Bond,
he didn't pass out for a bit. He fucking Bond asked him, like, "Hey,
yeah,
can you make the sleeping potion?" And he goes, "Yeah, but don't forget, this is, you can't ingest the potion. You have to sniff the potion."
Yeah, basically, yeah, he has to experience it, and when he does,
And that's when he does. He's like, he knocked out. But Bond had a face mask or a cloth on his face, and he's like, "Stupid Fushi."
Oh, basically, they wanted this because him, Robin, and who else was it? Kohaku or is it someone else?
No, it was the other guy, the soldier.
Oh, the heavyset guy.
It was the soldier. It was the soldier, the princess's friend, and Bond.
Yeah, so yeah, all three of them, they called out the crazy. They called out the black guy, the man in black,
Mr. Black.
Yep. So yeah, Bond can actually talk to him. He can actually talk to him and see him.
I love saying that, Mr. Black.
Mr. Black. And he was like talking about the war, the knockers. He said that you could have stopped this yourself, could you?
Right.
He's like, I could. All this is going on. And what did Bond say to make the man in black like snap type of thing?
No, he didn't say anything. He said,
who said something?
Nobody said anything. It was the cunning guy, who was friends with the princess. He stabbed him.
Oh, right, that's right. He did stab him.
He ran up, stabbed him with a sword, and fucking man in black.
Robin,
Robin got stabbed him, and Mr. Black got pissed and fucking yeeted him against the door. He got fucking knocked back, took the sword out of himself, made the sword crumple into a ball, and it disappeared.
Yeah, and he's like talking about how basically he wants Fushi to take his place, type of thing.
Yeah, he wants Fushi to take his place, and they're like, "Well, why are all these people dying?" He's like, "Well, others' deaths are Fushi's growth, and that's all I care about." Very savage.
Yeah. And now he disappears.
Yes.
And it's time for the big battle.
Yeah, but before that, so basically, Echo senses them. Fushi comes over. Big fucking explosion happens. The battle starts happening. They shoot something at the castle walls. Castle wall starts going down. And Fushi, to his credit, said, "Hey, I want to include some of my bodies around the city.
That way he can get caught because they can't take them.
They can't take them." Yeah, exactly. So he does March, the doctor, and somebody else. Oh, old man, Sakaji.
Old man, yeah.
Puts him at the base.
He's in a shop.
So he puts March specifically on the tip of the castle wall, and the castle wall gets hit. It rumbles. March falls. And one thing that Fushi said in particular said, "Hey, I'll be able to revive myself as long as the bodies are connected to the cord, to the rope." So when this happens, March's body gets disconnected from the rope. She lands in the field, and the episode ends with March reviving.
Yep, she woke up. And it's like, what the fuck?
Holy shit. I lost my mind. I was like, yo! Yep. When that happened, I messaged you. You were asleep. And you
I saw you saw like 3 a.m. Of course I was asleep. Dude. But we saw that, and then I was like, oh shit, that's great. But I was very happy. I can't wait for the actual battle to begin. That's next.
Yes.
I think it's definitely going to end with Fushi reviving all those dead guys that were in him.
Have to imagine he gets all his bodies back, revives them all.
So what happens to the first body talk? The first guy, the nomad guy, the nameless boy.
There has to be a Genesis somewhere, right? Unless he decides to revive him and take the form of the bear or the owl or something.
Well, yeah, unless he just keeps it.
The mole rat.
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna do that one. Unless he just keeps it because he's just used to it. That was like his first real physical body, like a human body.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. We're gonna have the big battle next week. I can't wait.
And there's still 6 more episodes to go.
Yeah,
right?
6 more to go. I'm sure it'll end in like 2 to 3.
The battle will be 2 to 3.
2 to 3 more episodes, I think.
And then one episode will be recovery, and the last episode will be what's like setting up for season 3.
Or, I think this is going to cover
the story's still going, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's a part 1 and part 2 manga type thing. So I think this is like the end of like the part 1 of it.
Does this lead into like today's world with technology and things like that?
I don't read it, so I don't know.
It's very surprising you don't.
Probably, it's on my list. So I just got have time to actually read it.
Makes sense.
Like I have it in my library, so just keep reading other ones. But
right.
But no, it's definitely very good.
Yeah, dude, I'm enjoying the shit out of this season. Like I said, far more than I am season 1. It's solid, minimum 4.25 for me. It has a chance to be 4.5. But regardless,
this is gonna be more of Fuji's path, like actually embracing himself, type of thing, his humanity and his godlike part of him.
Yeah.
But we had a long couple of weeks. We're happy to be back. Very heavy shit.
I don't know. So many emotions throughout all these shows.
A lot. Sad, funny, hilarious,
shocking, awe-inspiring.
Yeah. And just straight up cuteness.
Yes, dude.
But folks, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. We're getting out of here. Follow me on Twitter at DamianPhoenix12. You can follow him at Showstopper24. We follow our Keki at Talk the Kēki. Again, give us a follow, shout, retweet, whatever you want to do. Find us. We're there. We have a Facebook group called Eat the Cake Anime. Join that. Tell us how you found us. We'll give you a shout out. We have a future Keki Shop episode with Lupin the Third with me, and then with Starman and Ethan, hopefully reincarnated as the slime. Whatever they want to set that
movies, up. As well as other movies that we're doing. We have the SAO movie and we have the Kaguya-sama movie. SAO movie is in theaters as of this Friday. I will be seeing it Saturday with my boy Josh. Shout out to my boy Josh, who doesn't listen to the show. Fuck him. And then I will be watching
Kaguya will be on Valentine's Day.
It's a 2-day special for the guys, for people who don't know, and you love Kaguya-sama. It's a 2-day special, only the 14th and the 15th. So you will want to check that out if you love the show ASAP, because then you won't see it unless you pirate it, like Matt's going to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. But also, please follow W2M Radio and Chairshot Radio. We also want to thank them for like basically having them on their websites and wherever you listen to your favorite local podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Amazon, you name it, we're most likely there.
Yes, sir.
We have all that, and thank you, Sean, as our editor.
Yes, your gift's still on the way, buddy. We haven't forgotten about you.
We talked cake. We're full of cake, man. Should we get out of here?
Yeah, let me just give a couple quick plugs real quick. You can follow me on my Instagram at AI_anime24. That is my anime Instagram, where I give mostly daily interactions in regards to the animes that I see. I still need to start posting my fall reviews. I finally got through summer. I need to start posting the fall reviews on there. I will get to that at some point for sure, as we continue on through the winter program. You can follow me on my podcast Instagram at podcast.senpai. Again, as Matt said, for all of our socials, we have a link tree on there. You can follow us on our other endeavors. You can follow us everything regarding the page. You can follow me in my other endeavors, as I mentioned previously in the episode rather. Shout out to my boy Andy with MMA for Marks. We record every Monday or Tuesday. You can check us out live on the W2M network as well. For there, again, as Matt said, shout out to Sean and W2M network and Chairshot for hosting us. Yeah, man, let's get the fuck out of here. Yeah, we'll see you all next week. Arigato, nato faku, and sayonara. Sayonara, minasan! Bye-bye! Bye-bye!
Welcome to Talk the Kēki. Not an